Internet 840. 4:05 p.m., Washington Nationals take on the Houston Astros. Nationals on Sirius 139, XM 179, and Internet 869. Astros on Internet 850. 6:05 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the Chicago White Sox. Phillies on Sirius 160, XM 184, and Internet 860. White Sox on Internet 845. 6:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians take on the Oakland A's. Guardians on Sirius 161, XM 183, and Internet 847. A's on Internet 859. 6:40 p.m., Cincinnati Reds take on the LA Angels. Reds on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 846. Angels on Internet 852. 7:10 p.m., Kansas City Royals take on the Baltimore Orioles. Royals on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 851. Orioles on Internet 842. 7:20 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Texas Rangers. Braves on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 841. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish Feed on Sirius 162, XM 178, and Internet 871. 8:10 p.m., Colorado Rockies take on the Seattle Mariners. Rockies on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 848. Mariners on Internet 864. 8:40 p.m., San Diego Padres take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Padres on Sirius 106, XM 185, and Internet 862. Blue Jays on Internet 868. In the NHL playoffs, 5 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the New York Islanders. Hurricanes on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 925. Islanders on Internet 938. 8 p.m., Boston Bruins take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Bruins on Sirius 211, XM 219, and Internet 922. Maple Leafs on Internet 947. National Feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. In NCAA College Baseball, 3 p.m., Iowa takes on Rutgers on XM and Internet 372. 6 p.m., Mississippi State faces Auburn on XM and Internet 374. 7 p.m., Virginia Tech faces Duke on XM and Internet 371. In NCAA College Soccer, noon, Florida faces South Carolina on XM and Internet 374. 3 p.m., Kansas takes on Texas on XM and Internet 375. 7 p.m., Oklahoma faces Houston on XM and Internet 375. On the PGA Tour at 1 p.m., catch full coverage of the RBC Heritage Open on SiriusXM and Internet channels 92. In the UFL, 12:30 p.m., St. Louis Battlehawks take on the Memphis Showboats on SiriusXM and Internet channels 81. 7 p.m., Birmingham Stallions take on the DC Defenders on SiriusXM and Internet channels 83. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Saturday, April the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 1:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Yankees on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 858. Rays on Internet 866.
The PGA Tour comes to life on SiriusXM. It's your destination for everything on the tour. Hear live hole-by-hole coverage and expert analysis. PGA Tour Radio, SiriusXM 92.
MLB's Chief Baseball Development Officer and former Angels General Manager Tony Reagins came on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio to talk about what Jackie Robinson Day means to him.
I know without a doubt that I'm not doing what I'm doing, wouldn't be given the opportunities had it not had been for him. Obviously, he opened a lot of doors for a lot of people, and Jackie was just the perseverance and the things that he had to go. I've gone through tough things in the game and tried to handle them with grace. And that's really a product of Jackie. So personally, and Kev knows, Preston Gomez, who obviously coached, with Jackie. And, we used to talk about Jackie's journey and what Jackie really had to go through. And people, we say Jackie Robinson, and sometimes people think like Jackie was like a character in a movie or something. And this was real life. Real life. And to see Preston talk about Jackie and the tears in his eyes, I'm getting goosebumps again. The tears in his eyes when he talked about Jackie and what he had to go through. It was powerful, man. So I just really appreciate what he's given to the game, both on and off the field. And so from a personal standpoint, I just know that, my family, me as a person, my career is directly impacted by Jackie and his legacy. So that I'm appreciative of and definitely respectful of.
SiriusXM has soccer covered end to end. SiriusXM FC. Hear live play-by-play and talk shows hosted by legends of the game. It's SiriusXM FC on Channel 157.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Saturday, April the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 1:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Yankees on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 858. Rays on Internet 866. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 89. 2:10 p.m., Minnesota Twins take on the Detroit Tigers. Twins on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 856. Tigers on Internet 849. 2:15 p.m., St. Louis Cardinals take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Cardinals on Sirius 162, XM 178, and Internet 865. Brewers on Internet 855. 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs take on the Miami Marlins. Cubs on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 844. Marlins on Internet 854. 4:05 p.m., LA Dodgers take on the New York Mets. Dodgers on Sirius 119, XM 180, and Internet 853. Mets on Internet 857. Spanish feed on Internet 870. 4:05 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates face the Boston Red Sox. Pirates on Sirius 137, XM 181, and Internet 861. Red Sox on Internet 843. 4:05 p.m., San Francisco Giants take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Giants on Sirius 138, XM 182, and Internet 863. Diamondbacks on Internet 840. 4:05 p.m., Washington Nationals take on the Houston Astros. Nationals on Sirius 139, XM 179, and Internet 869. Astros on Internet 850. 6:05 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies take on the Chicago White Sox. Phillies on Sirius 160, XM 184, and Internet 860. White Sox on Internet 845. 6:10 p.m., Cleveland Guardians take on the Oakland A's. Guardians on Sirius 161, XM 183, and Internet 847. A's on Internet 859. 6:40 p.m., Cincinnati Reds take on the LA Angels. Reds on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 846. Angels on Internet 852. 7:10 p.m., Kansas City Royals take on the Baltimore Orioles. Royals on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 851. Orioles on Internet 842. 7:20 p.m., Atlanta Braves take on the Texas Rangers. Braves on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 841. Rangers on Internet 867. Spanish feed on Sirius 162, XM 178, and Internet 871. 8:10 p.m., Colorado Rockies take on the Seattle Mariners. Rockies on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 848. Mariners on Internet 864. 8:40 p.m., San Diego Padres take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Padres on Sirius 106, XM 185, and Internet 862. Blue Jays on Internet 868. In the NHL playoffs, 5 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the New York Islanders. Hurricanes on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 925. Islanders on Internet 938. 8 p.m., Boston Bruins take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Bruins on Sirius 211, XM 219, and Internet 922. Maple Leafs on Internet 947. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. In NCAA College Baseball, 3 p.m., Iowa takes on Rutgers on XM and Internet 372. 6 p.m., Mississippi State faces Auburn on XM and Internet 374. 7 p.m., Virginia Tech faces Duke on XM and Internet 371. In NCAA College Soccer, noon, Florida faces South Carolina on XM and Internet 374. 3 p.m., Kansas takes on Texas on XM and Internet 375. 7 p.m., Oklahoma faces Houston on XM and Internet 375. On the PGA Tour at 1 p.m., catch full coverage of the RBC Heritage Open on SiriusXM and Internet channels 92. In the UFL, 12:30 p.m., St. Louis Battlehawks take on the Memphis Showboats on SiriusXM and Internet channels 81. 7 p.m., Birmingham Stallions take on the DC Defenders on SiriusXM and Internet channels 83. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Saturday, April the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 1:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Yankees on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 858. Rays on Internet 866.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
Hall of Fame manager Whitey Herzog, who led the St. Louis Cardinals to the 1982 World Series title, has died at the age of 92. To remember his former general manager, Eduardo Perez, was on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio.
I got to know Whitey Herzog because he was also the general manager for the California Angels in 93 and 94. And in 93, I was called up by the California Angels, and it was Whitey Herzog who showed up at Albuquerque before we were headed to Scottsdale to play the Giants. And we were in Albuquerque playing the Dodgers at the time. That's where they were, and they were known as the Dukes, not the Isotopes and stuff. And it was really cool to see Whitey Herzog there. I knew the legend of Whitey. I did not go to spring training with the big league club that year. He went to go check out the AAA team, and 2 days later I get called up. And it was Whitey Herzog who called me up to the big leagues. Always forever grateful for Whitey Herzog, and I am dearly going to miss him. As I would, I got to pass every year to go to the Otesaga Hotel in Cooperstown because my dad, Tony Perez, is in the Hall of Fame. And I remember in the second level, sitting in the rocking chairs there with Whitey Herzog and listening to baseball stories, talking about every little thing. And I'm like a kid in a candy store when I'm at the Otesaga. But one of the most cherished moments that I have is being able to spend time with one of our greats, and that's Whitey Herzog.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Saturday, April the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 1:05 p.m., New York Yankees take on the Tampa Bay Rays. Yankees on Sirius 208, XM 175, and Internet 858. Rays on Internet 866. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 89. 2:10 p.m., Minnesota Twins take on the Detroit Tigers. Twins on Sirius 210, XM 177, and Internet 856. Tigers on Internet 849. 2:15 p.m., St. Louis Cardinals take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Cardinals on Sirius 162, XM 178, and Internet 865. Brewers on Internet 855. 2:20 p.m., Chicago Cubs take on the Miami Marlins. Cubs on Sirius 209, XM 176, and Internet 844. Marlins on Internet 854. 4:05 p.m., LA Dodgers take on the New York Mets. Dodgers on Sirius 119, XM 180, and Internet 853.
Major League Baseball play-by-play is now on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game.
Calling this game.
Calling this game.
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game. It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet. Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
It is Bedlam in the bank as Bryce Harper has put the Phillies on top.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather. A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made a play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That goes high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw. And the way the right voice can make a moment live forever. Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Outsiders may think this is just two teams.
The ball, a bat, and a microphone. But no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
He struck it out looking. It's over. It's over. The Rangers have won the World Series.
The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio.
Right now on SiriusXM. All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up. Get up.
3.
Can you believe it?
Put your seatbelt on.
Wow. My goodness.
Major League Baseball play-by-play is now on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM.
Let's go, man!
We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Geico 500
from Talladega Superspeedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah!
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Yeah!
Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yes!
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' third national title.
While you're listening to this game on SiriusXM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, SiriusXM, Channel 159.
Scotty Scheffler, for the second time in 3 years, is the Masters champion.
The Masters tournament is over. Next up, the best players in the world head to Valhalla Golf Club for the PGA Championship.
Brooks Koepka is the winner of the 105th PGA Championship.
PGA Championship Radio returns this May on Channel 92 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, and much, much, much more. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Each night after the horn sounds, NBA Radio has you covered with the best analysis of all the games.
When healthy, they check a lot of boxes.
We'll break down the playoff action.
Durant, left wing three again. This one goes again. All net for Kevin Durant.
And take you inside the locker room to hear from the players and coaches.
I thought it was our most connected game. Defensively, we're so physical.
Hear the NBA Radio Playoffs postgame show every night throughout the postseason on NBA Radio Channel 86 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Slams the ball to right field. Way back. Way gone.
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time.
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Fire up the machine. La Machina, Jose Berrios, takes the ball tonight for Toronto with a series win in its sights. San Diego, meanwhile, tries to reboot its bats after one run scored in the last two games. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is former Major Leaguer Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host. Nick Blackmore is our producer. And Tom Young is our technical director. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Rhine-Fed, Manitoba and Kenora. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. It was a big start to the game yesterday for the Blue Jays with 5 runs in the first 2 innings. Toronto has another opportunity to do damage with right-hander Randy Vasquez being recalled from the minors to make his season debut for San Diego tonight. Blue Jays and Padres get going next. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball streaming on the Sportsnet app, sportsnet.ca, and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
The Blue Jays are inviting you to work from Dome. Put it in your calendar. 307 weekdays starts this season. You can work from Dome with friends or coworkers at Rogers Center. It's a game changer. Make the ballpark your office for the afternoon. Work from Dome, 307 weekday starts. Let's touch base. Check out ticket options on bluejays.com/fromdome.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better. and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
The future stars of fantasy football will be on display at the NFL Draft.
With the first pick.
And Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you get ready for your rookie drafts, dynasty leagues, and season-long drafts.
It's the best draft class we'll have seen in our lifetime. This is what we play for, off-season dynasty leaguers. It is just the most exciting time.
Join Alex Dunlap and Cody Carpentier for the Fantasy Sports Radio NFL Draft Preview Show right now on the SiriusXM app. Just search Fantasy Drafts.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
The Blue Jays just minutes away from Game 2 in San Diego after a dominating performance, a 5-1 win in Game 1. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Before we get to first pitch from Randy Vasquez, let's learn a little bit more about the Padres. Mark Grant, former Major League pitcher and Padres TV analyst, talked with Blair and Barker recently about Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, and some of the Padres. Take a listen.
I think the Padres were 9-11 in spring training. I spoke to a friend of mine who was doing some scouting out in Arizona, and I just asked him a general question. What'd you see that really impressed you? What do you like? Who do you have a good feeling about? He said, You know what? I know they don't have Soto. He said, I know they don't have Blake Snell. But he said, man, I really like what the Padres are doing. And then he embarked into about a 20-minute discussion of Jackson Merrill. Tell us what we should look for from Jackson Merrill, because this will be the first time we've seen him in person.
I'll tell you, he's fun to watch. Here's another shortstop who went to center field. I think he played 1 or 2 games to the left, then they moved him over to center field. What you can find is a kid who's very athletic. He's got a great idea at the plate, knows the strike zone. Not a power guy, but he's a guy who's got good bat-to-ball skills that I think the pop will come. Certain situations, maybe certain counts, but a guy who uses the whole field. This kid is very, very confident, too. And I know you guys have been around the baseball and other sports. There's a difference between a guy being, very, very cocky and not the guy who cares.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cocky. Just my ability is going to say, no. Jackson Merrill is confident, and he is a gamer. He is baseball 101, and he wants to learn. He wants to get better. You guys know that when athletes have it, I think Jackson Merrill has it. Covers great ground at center field. He's going to make some nice plays and put together good at-bats. He'd been batting down in the order, which I think is a very crucial part of the order, because he took it upon himself. Oh, I'm batting ninth. Okay, he didn't let his ego step in the way. He's going to contribute. The big key for him is flipping that order. Mm-hmm. Hitting ninth, maybe 2 outs to get to the top of the order, so maybe 1, 2, and 3 can do some damage. So I think you're going to see a complete player.
How about Machado? There's on the Blue Jays team, there's a guy that plays first there, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., that we talk about all the time. He's just supposed to carry the world, and it's sometimes, I think, a little unfair. But I think Machado is a little sort of the same way. How much does he mean to this team going where they want to go?
I marvel at what Manny does each and every day. And this is a guy who's only DHing right now because he's still nursing that surgery he had on his elbow. So defensively, he could probably be back there later this month. But here's a guy who didn't start off well, and he was the same Manny Machado. I mean, he's been around the block, 8-10 years, 6, 8, 10 years now. Manny knows he's good. He knows he's going to turn it around. He's got one of the sweetest right-handed swings in baseball. And guys, I tell you what, he is so smooth at the plate that I think other guys, they say, gosh, how does this guy do it? He squares more balls up. But I think Manny is also a guy who, when he speaks, people listen, because Manny kind of, the way I know him, I'm not in the clubhouse every day. Yeah. I have little spurts of, conversations with Manny here and there. Hey, what's going on? All right, don't forget the eggs and the milk. He plays the game the right way. He plays hard. He answers the bell. He wants to play every day. So, yeah, Manny, when he speaks, people listen, and the way he carries himself in the dugout, in the clubhouse, goes a long way. And I think Manny, in a nutshell, when he gets back defensively at third base and also swinging the bat, I think it's going to obviously help the club tremendously.
That's Mark Grant, Padres TV analyst, talking with Blair and Barker. Blue Jays and Padres coming up. Let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Everyone else in the AL East already wrapped up today. Yankees 14-7 lead the division. Baltimore game back at 12-7. Blue Jays in third, 11-9, with Tampa Bay and Boston 12-10, only behind them for fourth place on winning percentage. Padres take the field with that. Let's take a look tonight at the Blue Jays starting lineup for John Schneider's team. Here's Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Ben. Here is the starting lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays. Leading off and playing right field is George Springer. At first base is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He'll bat second. Bo Bichette is playing shortstop, batting third. DHing, and in the cleanup spot is Justin Turner. Dalton Varsho is in left field, batting fifth. Behind the plate is Alejandro Kirk. He'll bat sixth. Batting seventh and playing second base is Kevin Biggio. At third base, batting eighth is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. And batting ninth is Kevin Kiermaier. He'll be in center field. On the mound is Jose Berrios. He is 3-0 with a 1.05 ERA. And for the San Diego Padres, leading off and playing second base is Xander Bogaerts. In right field, batting second is Fernando Tatis Jr. Jake Cronenworth will play first base and bat third. DHing is Manny Machado. He'll clean up. Jurickson Profar will bat fifth and play left field. Ha-Seong Kim is at shortstop, batting sixth. In center field, batting seventh is Jackson Merrill. Behind the plate and batting eighth is Luis Campusano. And batting ninth at third base is Graham Pauley. On the mound, making his season debut, is Randy Vasquez.
Vasquez, the right-hander, being acquired by the Padres in the offseason. He was part of the Juan Soto trade, one of the many arms that they picked up from New York. He pitched for the Yankees last year, but not against the Blue Jays, at least in the regular season. It'll be interesting to see what the right-hander has, a 25-year-old who's now pitching in his second season. About to get underway in the top of the first inning, which is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. Blue Jays starters and Alejandro Kirk just making it back into the dugout as George Springer steps into the batter's box and Vasquez gets into the wind. First pitch is a fastball yanked down and away. Ball one. Time of the first pitch, 8:40 p.m. Eastern. 18 degrees and sunny in San Diego. Shade covering the plate, though. Here's the 1-0. High with the heater, 2-0. Good to see Springer back in the lineup. Missed a game yesterday, was dealing with an illness. Ready to go today and in right field. The 2-0. Outside 3-0. 3 straight sinking fastballs from the right-hander Randy Vasquez. None of them have hit the zone.
Well, Randy Vasquez actually had a good year last year with the Yankees. He was 2-2 with a 2.87 ERA. Small sample size, 37 2/3 innings pitched.
3-0. Called strike and maybe a favor there from our home plate umpire tonight, Ramon DeJesus. Adrian Johnson's at first, Derek Thomas at second, and Junior Valentine umpiring third. Vasquez waves off a sign, now nods, and he's into the wind. 3-1 to Springer. Fly ball, shallow left center. Merrill circling over to it, makes the catch. 1 out.
And right away you can see that Randy Vasquez has a pretty good fastball, 95, 96, good run on it. He's probably a little bit nervous. This is the season debut for Vasquez, so you can understand the erratic nature of his fastball early on, but he got back in that count.
Also his Padres debut. First pitch to Guerrero is a fastball inside, 1-0. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hitting .220 this year, but has walked 14 times and come up with 5 extra base hits. The pitch. Called strike, 1-1. Vlad bumped his average up to 224 with 2 hits yesterday. 1-1. Guerrero tags a ball to left center field. That's going to split the outfielders and roll to the wall. Vladdy around first. He'll head into second without a throw. It's a stand-up double for Guerrero in the first.
Well, that second pitch was a good fastball down in the zone. Vlad doesn't like that pitch. He took it. He thought it was a ball, shaking his head. And then Vasquez leaves that slider right over the middle of the plate, and Vlad does not miss. What a swing right there.
For Guerrero, his 3rd double of the season. Blue Jays trying to jump on top early like they did yesterday. Scored in the first and then scored 4 in the second in their 5-1 win. Here comes Bo Bichette. Vasquez pitching from the stretch with Guerrero on second, 1 out, top of the first, and no score. A look at Vlad. 1 more, and the pitch to Bo. Fastball called high, looked like it was a strike, 1-0. Bichette on the season hitting .239, 5 doubles, a homer, 7 driven in. Lots of attention to Guerrero on second from Vasquez. Varying up his peaks, the 1-0 is hit on the ground left side. Picked up by the third baseman, Pauly, who bounces the throw. It hits off the glove of Cronenworth and rolls behind him. Guerrero, who had to wait on the ground ball, will move up to third. It's a throwing error for Graham Pauly, who was recalled today by the Padres and inserted at third base. And it'll be runners on the corners for the Blue Jays.
Well, we were talking about Vasquez being nervous. Graham Pauly is probably pretty nervous, too. That's an easy throw right there, and he just one-hops Cronenworth with that tough throw. That wasn't even an in-between hop. That was one of those longer hops that's really hard for first baseman to snag. Cronenworth has a tough time. You have to throw that ball right to the chest.
Vasquez is going to step off, pointing to the right side of his head. I believe there's a pitch comm issue, but no one from the dugout says anything. They're going to count that as a disengagement. So the first one of the plate appearance. Turner stepping in, batting .345 so far this season. 11 RBIs. First and third, 1 down. And the pitch. Fastball right over the plate, strike 1.
And the Blue Jays have to take advantage of this. You have a guy on the mound that hasn't pitched in the big leagues this year. He's probably nervous. His heart rate is probably speeding up on him. The game will start to speed up on him. Justin Turner has to have a good swing here.
Turner homered in the first inning yesterday. The 0-1. High, outside maybe a little too, 1-1. It was the chorus of boos again to start this game for Justin Turner. Part of the reason why his home run yesterday was his 26th of his career against the Padres. That's the most he's hit against any opponent in his career. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Beat him with a middle-in fastball, 1-2.
Yeah, good fastball from Vasquez in on the hands of Justin Turner. Turner usually pulls the hands through and probably inside outs that ball, but behind on that one.
Crowd getting loud with Bichette on first and Guerrero on third. 1 out, 1-2 count, top of the first inning. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Chase the high fastball. Turner goes down, 2 outs.
Crowd very happy about that.
Well, he's probably got at least 3 more shots coming up. Here's Dalton Varsho, 5th hitter in the lineup today and left fielder. Varsho hitting a hair over 200, leads the team with 4 home runs. First and third, 2 down, no score, top of the first. And the right on left pitch from Randy Vasquez. Missed way down and in, 1-0. That was the first changeup we've seen so far from Vasquez. He's fastball heavy with a 4-seamer and a sinker. Throws a cutter as well. And then we'll mix in the sweeper, changeup, and curve. He rocks back and delivers. Bounced it to the plate. Good pick by Campusano on the backhand side. That was near the ankles of Varsho. And if that one gets away, Vladdy probably comes in to score.
Yeah, that was one of those look what I found kind of picks. Campusano needs to get his body in front of that baseball. He kind of just tried to catch it like a first baseman, and luckily for him, he did. 2 ugly changeups also in a row. Vasquez is 2-0.
It's a third straight ugly changeup. They kept going back to it, and he's missed right near the back left foot of Varsho 3 times.
And I give Dalton Varsho the green light right here. He could come back with a fastball middle. Dalton Varsho's been good lately.
Blue Jays looking to score first. First and third, 2 down. And the 3-0. Swing and a pop-up. First base side foul territory. And Camposano runs out of room. The catcher had taken his mask off, but that will land deep into the seats. Varsho did have the green light, evidently, and went after kind of a high and tight fastball.
Yeah, they were trying to go middle. They were just trying to sneak a strike in there. Probably thought that Varsho didn't have the green light, and he swung at that. It was just up and in just a little bit.
Set at the chest. Vasquez getting ready for the 3-1. 2 peaks at first at Bichette. Guerrero on third, 3-1. Varsho hammers it to right field. That ball is way back. It's out of here. Stay hot, Dalton Varsho. His 5th home run of the season, a 3-run blast in the first inning.
There's no better feeling than drilling a middle fastball 400 feet to right field. What a swing from Dalton Varsho. He stays hot.
The Blue Jays dugout loves it. The Padres fans were cheering, but just because the fan threw the ball back on the field. It's 3-0 Toronto now in the first inning with 2 outs and the bases empty.
That was a 4-seamer center cut. Varsho didn't miss it.
Guerrero and Bichette come in to score on the play. If you remember earlier in the inning, there was a throwing error, so none of those runs will actually be earned against Vasquez as the inning should already be over. First pitch to Alejandro Kirk, called strike, and the next one's in there too. It's 0-2. Dalton Varsho has hit 5 home runs in about a week and a half. 0-2 to Kirk, slap to the right side, diving stop at first by Cronenworth. Nice play. He gets up and goes to the bag to end the inning. Blue Jays, though, get on the board. 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 error. They leave no one on. It's Dalton Varsho's 3-run homer that gives the Blue Jays the lead. Middle of the first, you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Jose Berrios with a trio of strikeouts to end a scoreless 6.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Jose Berrios, drawn on the dirt on the back of the mound, will step onto the rubber for his 5th start of the season. The right-hander faces Xander Bogaerts first, and the pitch. Hit hard to the left side, picked by IKF on the one-hopper. He'll crow hop and throw to first. 1 down. Jose Berrios inheriting a favorable situation. Blue Jays scored 3 runs in the top of the first inning. So it's 3-0 Toronto right now. And with 1 down, here comes Fernando Tatis Jr. Berrios 3-0 on the season, 1.05 ERA through 7 scoreless innings against Colorado, his last start. He's set and pitches to Tatis. Sinker called for strike one, looked to hair low.
Well, in his last start, we talked about this at length, but his sweeper slider wasn't great. And he survived without it because his sinker was so good all day.
Backdoor sinker on the outside edge, strike two.
And again, these last 2 sinkers that he's thrown, not his best velocity, 93, 94, but still the movement on his sinker right now and the command that he has with it is why he's 3-0 with a 1 ERA.
Went with the slurve. It backed up on him. Misses inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We saw a lot of those backup sliders in his last game. But those first 2 sinkers that he threw were very, very good.
With 1 down, the 1-2. That was a good slurve. Went strike to ball. Tatis lays off, though, as it landed low and away. 2-2. For Berrios, he's got the sinker and the cutter. Kind of has gotten away from the four-seamer at this point. The slurve and the changeup. Will mostly deploy the changeup to lefties, but can throw it to righties. Kirk inside, the 2-2. Did he go around on the pitch? Appeal. And he did not. Tatis jerked back out of the way after making a check swing like that had hit him. But he both did not go around, and that certainly did not hit him. It's 3-2.
Well, that ball started on the inner third and then ran right back in on Fernando Tatis Jr. You could see how uncomfortable he is. He kind of flips the bat. Just a little bit dramatic, but that was a great pitch.
3-2 sinker, called strike 3. Tatis had started walking to first base, but that certainly bit the outside part of the zone. A strikeout for Berrios, and there are 2 down.
Started off the plate and catches just the black there. Fernando Tatis Jr. is kind of dumbfounded right there. He probably thought he was going to see an off-speed pitch there, but Berrios so good right now with that sinker.
First lefty he's facing today. The pitch to Jake Cronenworth is a sinker right on the outside corner, strike 1. Cronenworth hitting .253 this year, 4 doubles, a triple, 3 homers, and 14 driven in. The 0-1. Bounce the changeup.
There's the first changeup of the night, and even that changeup right there had good action. If that thing started in the strike zone, Cronenworth probably offers at it.
Cronenworth steps out of the box, taps the far corner, then near corner of the plate. And Berrios looking toward Kirk. He rocks and delivers. Back foot slurve. Cronenworth moves out of the way. 2-1. Jose Berrios fiddling with his jersey a bit, moving around. He either dumped some water on himself before the game or he is sweating right now. 2-1. Down and in, 3-1. 3-0 Blue Jays. Bottom of the first inning. 2 outs and the base is empty. Jose Berrios facing Jake Cronenworth, the left-handed hitter. The 3-1. Fastball outside, ball 4.
It is 18 degrees and sunny right now. I can only imagine that he's not sweating that much. It has to be water. 18 and sunny is probably ideal situation to pitch in.
And the mound at the top of the first was in the sun. It's actually in the shade now. There's just kind of streaks of sunlight in right field. Berrios peeking over his shoulder to his left, now deals to Manny Machado. Slider for strike 1. Man, did that move. I mean, that had like forkball movement on it. Almost looked like a reverse slider. Machado off to a slow start by his standards, hitting .250 so far this year. Does have 4 home runs. 0-1. Missed downstairs with the sinker. 1 ball, 1 strike. Air Jordan elbow guard for Manny Machado. White with a gold Jordan logo. The 1-1. Line drive, right field, down for a base hit. Picked up by Springer, up to second Cronenworth. And 2 out base runners in a row here for the Padres, giving Jurickson and Profar a chance to get San Diego right back in the game.
And there's Manny Machado just waiting for a sinker up, and he got one. That was about belt high. Just such a good piece of hitting. Goes with it, hits a line drive the other way. That's the Manny Machado that we've seen for 10 years.
Machado in his 6th season with the Padres. He's standing on first. Jake Cronenworth on second. And the switch hitter, Jurickson Profar, bats from the left side. Profar off to a really hot start. The pitch. Fastball in there, strike one. 296 is the average for Profar, who ended the season really well last year and has carried it right over into the 22 games he's played this year. The 0-1. Slurve popped up, foul behind the plate and into the seats. Berrios was pointing at it, but Kirk never had a shot. 0-2.
I'm actually surprised that Profar swung at that pitch. That was a slurve that started head high and broke down, and Profar still tried to swing at it, just fouling it back.
Put himself in an 0-2 hole. First and second, 2 down the pitch. Fastball cracked foul to the left side into the seats. Still 0-2. Profar started his career in Texas, has moved around a lot since then. Couple of stints with the Padres. Pickoff play to second. Bichette sneaks in behind Cronenworth, but the throw's late. Cronenworth back there with the dive. Cronenworth dusts himself off and takes his lead at second. Machado leading off first. Vlad playing behind him. 0-2. Fastball, called strike 3. Painted on the inside edge, and a strut off the mound from Berrios. Profar's been thrown out of the game. He throws his bat, he throws his helmet, and he's going to wash his jersey off and hit the showers. Jurickson Profar is out of this ball game after 1 inning. Mike Schilt, Padres manager, livid right now in the face of Ramon DeJesus, and he might be getting the hook here soon.
Well, Jurickson Profar said something. He slammed his bat.
Schilt's been thrown out.
And I think he warned him after he threw his bat, and then he threw his helmet on the ground. And come on, you're getting tossed if that's the case.
And he didn't walk away and do it, I will say, too. He was standing right beside the umpire. But Jurickson Profar and Mike Schilt have been thrown out of this game. Profar was arguing, or at least upset with the pitch call. And it was a strike while borderline. There was the bat thrown in a point because that's a fine, and then he threw his helmet and he gets tossed. Scoreless inning for Berrios. 2 strikeouts, 3-0 Blue Jays at the end of 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, this is Eddie Vedder.
Hey, it's Jeff Ament. This is Mike McCready from Pearl Jam. Our new album, Dark Matter, just arrived. Dark Matter! And we're here to personally introduce you to every track.
No hyperbole, I think this is our best work.
Join us throughout the weekend
on our exclusive SiriusXM channel.
Pearl Jam Radio.
Channel 22 in the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
How you manage your team day in and day out will be the difference in where you finish in 2024.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
There is no competition in soccer quite like the UEFA Champions League. And it's on SiriusXM FC.
Kylian Mbappe delivering when it matters most.
The stakes are higher now in the knockout stage, where one goal can transform a club's trajectory.
Jude Bellingham's driving, scores!
And one performance can turn a star into an immortal.
Harry Kane finishes off the game.
It's the Champions League knockout stage, and all the top matches are on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
Top of the second inning, Kevin Biggio leads off. 3-0 Blue Jays. 2-0 count to Biggio. Pitch from Randy Vasquez misses low. 3 balls and no strikes. Loud booing all around. If you weren't with us at the end of the first, a lot happened. We'll get to it in a second. First, the 3-0 to Biggio. Outside, ball 4. Fans are upset because at the conclusion of the first, Jurickson Profar struck out looking on a pitch that looked like it was borderline, but a strike. He slammed his helmet. He slammed his bat first. Umpire pointed because that's a fine. He then slammed his helmet, tossed immediately by Ramon DeJesus. Mike Schilt came out of the dugout and went berserk on the entire umpiring crew. He got tossed. First pitch to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, called strike, and there come the jeers. So Jurickson Profar is done. Jose Azocar has taken over in left. And as for replacing Mike Schilt, that gets a little interesting for the Padres. First, the pitch to IKF with 1 on and no outs. Down and away, 1-1. So the Padres happen to be one of 2 teams in Major League Baseball that don't have a bench coach. Usually, your manager's tossed, your bench coach steps in. In the Blue Jays case, they have an associate manager and a bench coach. Throw over to first. Biggio back with a dive. So, completely honestly, I'm not exactly sure who's calling the shots. We were looking a little bit at the break, and Tim Leeper was saying some stuff. Here's the 1-1. Ground ball, hooked to third, picked up by Pauly, throw to second for 1, back over to first late, fielder's choice. I don't think the umpires are going to get much of a break tonight. And so Leeper, the third base coach for the Padres, the former Blue Jays first base coach, maybe he's involved. I saw Brian Esposito, who's one of their catching coaches, up on the step, and Esposito was the manager of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps 2 seasons ago. Maybe they turned to him a little bit as well. But you don't lose your manager in the first inning every day, not to mention your starting left fielder. By the way, I'm Ben Schulman. He's Chris LaRue. 1 out, runner on first. 3-0 Blue Jays, top of the second. Kevin Kiermaier to bat. The right-hander Vasquez looks in, peeks at first, and fires. Called strike 1.
Well, we did see Leeper looking like he was ordering people around, and selfishly, I would love if Tim Leeper was the manager for the rest of this game.
Leeper not only involved with the Blue Jays, but Canada baseball as well. 0-1. Bounced. Pick by Campusano. Kiermaier takes a step out of the box for a moment. He's looking down to third base to Blue Jays third base coach Carlos Fablis. Mark Budzinski coaches first. Kiermaier on a tear recently, hitting .389 in his last 7 games. 1-1. Swing and a ball looped to center. Falling down to Zokar. It bounces behind him and rolls up to the wall. IKF getting the stop sign at third. Kiermaier all the way up to second. And Zokar called off the bench minutes ago. Got tripped by the turf monster. And Kevin Kiermaier gets a double because of it.
And I've said this before, left field is the hardest position in the outfield because of the top spin on line drives hit by left-handed hitters, and you can see right there that he gets turned around and then trips. He kind of trips himself. His left foot hits his right foot. That is a tough play, but that top spin line drive from left-handed hitters is a really, really tough play.
Second and third for the Blue Jays now. First pitch to George Springer, inside, ball 1. 3-0 Toronto, 1 out in the top of the second. Dalton Varsho's 3-run blast, the difference in this game right now. Springer with 4 RBIs on the season. Infield in, the pitch. Swing and a miss, huge rip at a 96-mile-per-hour heater, 1-1.
Well, I think everybody in the ballpark knows what George Springer was trying to do with that swing. That was about as big as it gets.
Yeah, he was trying to make that 3-0 lead a 6-0 lead. Outfield still plays back against Springer. The 1-1. Off the handle foul, 1-2. Springer's going to take a walk. This second inning is brought to you by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Springer entered this game hitting .219, 0 for 1 with a fly out to center in the first. The 1-2. Off the end of the bat, a pop-up. Back of shortstop. Bogarts, the second baseman, makes the catch. And will toss it back in. looked a little frantic for a second there as the infielders had their toes on the infield grass and had to run out there. But Bogaerts, the longtime shortstop, made a play in familiar territory.
Well, I'm disappointed with that first swing from George Springer. It's all fun and games to have a big swing, but when you have runners on second and third, 2 big runs at second and third, less than 2 outs, you have to try to put the bat on the ball, hit the ball in a line, use the big part of the field. He was clearly pulling off, trying to hit the big fly. That's not what you're supposed to do in that situation.
First pitch to Guerrero, called strike 1. Speaking of using big parts of the field, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. split the outfielders in the left center field gap with a line drive in the first inning. Doubled, came around to score. Second and third, 2 down, and the 0-1. Vladdy smokes a ball foul left side. Wake-up call for fans who are glad for the netting down the left field line. It ripples still, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, he drilled that ball into foul territory, but that was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in on his hands, and he pulled his hands through. He's still got that quick bat.
2 on, 2 out. The 2-strike pitch. Outside, ball 1.
Crowd obviously wanted that one.
It's going to be a long night for Ramon de Jesus, home plate umpire, who, again, maybe it was a quick hook, but the strike call that was argued was a strike. 1-2 to Vlad. Bounced, and it skips off the chest of Campusano. Coming over and scoring is Kiner Falefa. He got a quick jump on the wild pitch. Campusano got a piece of it, but it bounced off to his right, and it's 4-0 Blue Jays on the wild pitch.
And that's what good base runners do. They watch the flight of the ball, they watch the angle of the ball, and they can read whether it's going to hit the ground or not. And as soon as that baseball hit the ground, you can see that IKF took off immediately. That's a great job right there. You spend hours on that stuff in spring training.
Credit to Guerrero, too, who was waving him home with his left hand. Now a runner on second, 4-0 with 2 outs. The 2-2 to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Swing, and it's hit just behind him, foul into the seats.
And that's a huge run. Jose Berrios on the mound. The way the bullpen's been throwing, 4 runs is like 12 runs.
Blue Jays had 5 runs in the first 2 innings yesterday. Trying to get greedy here and match that total. A single likely scores the speedy Kiermaier from second. A look back at Kiermaier by Vasquez. And the 2-2. Vlad pops up a breaking ball. Back of second base. Bogaerts calls off Kim. Drifting back into center. Makes a 2-handed catch. And ends the inning. Blue Jays score 1 more, though. 1 hit and the wild pitch that brought home Isaiah Kiner Falefa to make it a 4-0 game. Middle of the second, you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at ProvenWinnersColorChoice.com.
When you have an iconic look like Danny Jansen, picking new glasses can be tough.
Too big, too small, too cool, too much, too 90s, too futuristic. I think I'm just going to stick with the originals. These are working just fine.
He is really seeing the ball well. Your friends will do a double take when they see you in your Danny Jansen new blue replica jersey and glasses.
And he's got some style.
On Monday, April 29th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Jano bundle. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Herzog smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the second inning at Petco Park in San Diego. The Blue Jays up 4-0 on the Padres. Jose Berrios' first pitch to Ha-Sung Kim is hit well, but well fouled. 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays added to their lead, turning 3-0 into 4-0 on a wild pitch that IKF scored on last inning. 0-1. Slurve misses away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Jose Berrios' first couple of slurves in tonight's game, they have a lot more depth than they did in his last start. That's a good sign.
The 1-1. Another slurve, called for a strike, looked a little bit outside. And again, Ramon DeJesus hears it, as he probably will all night, with Jurickson Profar, the left fielder, and Mike Schilt, the manager, thrown out for the Padres. 1-2. Fastball lifted to shallow right center. Biggio, the second baseman, makes the catch running back, and there's 1 out.
If you're a savvy fan, which I know Padres fans are, I'm unsure why they don't understand this. If you slam the bat on the ground, first of all, the pitch was a strike. If you slam the bat on the ground, and then the umpire warns you, he was saying something to him and he didn't toss him, and then you slam your helmet on the ground, that is not the umpire's fault.
It's a lot of emotion at play here. Here's the first pitch to Jackson Merrill. Called strike 1.
And like I said, Padres fans are savvy. They should have seen that and thought, he deserves that.
I think when you get in there, a lot of reason goes out the window. 0-1 pitch, hit foul, 0-2. I mean, when the Blue Jays were in New York, like, there are maybe, I don't know if there's a more dedicated fan base than the New York Yankees. They boo like every ball call on the planet that their pitcher throws. 0-2 to the left-handed hitting Merrill with 1 out and the bases empty. Fastball left over the plate, but slice back foul, still 0-2.
And I guess the fans can't see where that pitch was. They probably assume that it was nowhere near the strike zone because of the reaction of Jurickson Profar. But it was a strike.
Yeah. You go back, you watch the highlights later, probably change your mind. 0-2 again. Back foot slider bounces. Merrill lays off, and he's going to kick dirt into the spot where the ball landed. It's 1-2. Berrios taking a moment off the rubber. Deep breath, steps back on, shakes his head. Now comes set. The 1-2. Hit foul to the right side. Somehow Merrill got on that slurve that was way inside, and he got a piece of it. '21-year-old Merrill hitting .329 so far this year. 1-2. Fastball lands inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's 4th in the big leagues in average behind in the count at .343. Guess who's number 1?
One Justin Turner.
You know everything.
I did know that one. 2-2. Change up away. 3-2. The proximity helps. I mean, if it was like, Blake Perkins of the Milwaukee Brewers, I might not have known that. Full count, 1 out, bases empty. 4-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the second. The payoff pitch. Breaking ball, popped up, behind short. Bichette with a long run into left. Called off by Varsho, who sprints in and makes the catch. 2 down, a rare catch for Varsho where he can just stay on his feet and squeeze the ball.
Yeah, I can't remember a fly ball that he's caught without leaving his feet.
2 of them yesterday, diving back, sliding to his right. John Schneider talked a little bit before the game and said, frankly, those plays just don't surprise us anymore. He said they come on a nightly basis. Here's Luis Campusano, 8-hitter and catcher. First pitch, bounce softly to short. Bichette charges, sidearms over to first in time, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Jose Berrios. 4-0 Blue Jays headed to the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2menintruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Jordan Romano, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
You could take home over $1.4 million by supporting kids in your community. Proceeds from the Jays Care Amazing April Jackpot help more kids get off the sidelines and into the game. Head to bluejays.com/5050 to get your tickets from Ontario or Nova Scotia. Bo Bichette leads off the top of the third, takes strike one from Randy Vasquez, the Padres starter. 4-0 Blue Jays in Game 2 at Petco Park. Second pitch of the top of the third inning. Here it comes. Inside, ball one. On Ben Shulman, to my left is Chris LaRue. Blue Jays 5-1 winners yesterday, off to a hot start today, but trying to keep it going, unlike yesterday's game. 1-1. Check swing, pitch was outside. No boos, so maybe emotions starting to rein themselves in a little bit. It's 2-1.
I hope that's over.
I kind of like it. I hope it keeps going. Nod from Vasquez, right-hander, curls back and fires. Bichette rips and misses at a fastball middle. You understand the big hack on a pitch like that, but the 95 got past him.
Yeah, and then that big backswing almost hit Camposano in the shoulder.
Helmet nearly popped off, too. 2-2. In the dirt. I'd imagine your time as a catcher, you caught a backswing or two.
I was beat up always. I had bruises up and down my arms. My back was sore. My knees were sore. And I was 19 years old. I can only imagine at 40 how these guys feel.
Swing and a miss on a 3-2 breaking ball. Bichette goes down to the sweeper. 1 out. This third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Rhinefed, Manitoba, and Kenora. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. Who's ringing out for Justin Turner, who's 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. First pitch. Breaking ball drops in there.
And now he's behind in the count. He's hitting .444. Let's go.
I believe he's got 6 of his 7 doubles with 2 strikes on him. 0-1. Turner hits it in the air. Not very deep to left. About 15, 20 feet in front of the track. It's caught by his Zokard. 2 down. That'll bring up Dalton Varsho, who is just doing about everything right recently. The big plays defensively, and he hit his team-leading 5th home run of the season in the first inning, a 3-run shot that got the Blue Jays on the board. They lead 4-0 right now, 2 outs in the third. Base is empty. First pitch fastball at the knees, strike 1.
Well, I didn't really understand the pitch selection in his last at-bat. 3 straight changeups, and then 2 straight 4-seam fastballs right down the middle. I just don't understand that.
The 0-1. Changeup low. And the 3 changeups, big misses. First one was a big miss. Second one almost hit Varsho. Then they went to it a third time, missed again. The 1-1. Swing and a miss on that same change, 1-2.
So obviously the Padres are concerned with Dalton Varsho. They're throwing 3 straight changeups to him. But if you're that concerned, you're not throwing a 3-0 4-seam fastball down the middle. And specifically, you're not throwing a 3-1 4-seam fastball right down the middle, which Dalton Varsho hit 400 feet to right field.
Ahead of him now, though, is Vasquez. A long look in, decides on a pitch, the 1-2. Hard hit ground ball past the dive of Cronenworth and rolling into the right field corner. Varsho tips around first. He's at second. He'll stop there with a 2-out stand-up double, and he just keeps on chugging.
He is doing everything right now. He kind of pulled off that pitch just a little bit. You see the shoulder go out. But he found a spot right down the line. It hugs that first base line, goes into the corner, and he motors into second. Dalton Varsho can do no wrong right now.
2 extra base hits already in this game. Here's Alejandro Kirk with Varsho on second, 2 outs. Vasquez staring at Varsho, looks to the plate. Looks back at Varsho. Running down the pitch clock. He'll look at the plate again. Varsho bouncing around. One more look at Dalton Varsho and the pitch. Nice breaking ball for strike 1.
That was one of the longest looks I have ever seen. I don't understand that. Usually when a pitcher looks that long and then he looks back, they step off.
Varsho can create havoc on the bases. The 0-1. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. A diving stop from Cronenworth at first in the first inning prevented Alejandro Kirk from a base hit. He's 0 for 1. Batting under 200 so far this year. A lot of attention on Varsho, the 1-1. Kirk hits it in the air, right field, slicing toward the seats. Tatis giving it a look, but that will go into the stands, 1-2. Again, repeated looks at Varsho. Ha-Sung Kim, the shortstop, who isn't playing especially close to Varsho, running over there to get in his head. They really seem to want to keep him close to second base and maybe try to prevent him from scoring on a single.
I don't think he's going anywhere. He's definitely not stealing third right here.
2 outs, 4-0 Blue Jays. The 1-2. Kirk gets it off the end of the bat and spoils it. Foul back behind the plate, still 1-2.
But Dalton Varsho is obviously the guy that they're concentrating on, not only at the plate, but on the base paths. I mean, he really is doing everything right now. Power, base running, defense.
After a slow road trip, he has looked like a different guy since. Kim shading behind Varsho once more, who leans back to second, but then extends his lead. Jabbing at third to get in the head of Vasquez, who's looking right at him. Turns to the plate, the 1-2. High fastball, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Although Kirk has struggled so far batting average-wise, he does have 8 RBIs so far and is about 1 walk to 1 strikeout like he often is. 2-2. Fly ball foul. That was a fastball left over the plate, but Kirk behind it does send it into the seats to still make it 2-2.
Yeah, he was behind that and did a great job of just fighting it off, kind of muscling it off into the bleachers, staying alive.
A set at the chest for Vasquez. 2-2 count. He rears back and fires. Bounce the breaking ball. Campusano slides in front of it, 3-2. Kevin Biggio waiting on deck. He walked to lead off the second inning. Vasquez looks in for signs. Varsho leading off second. 4-0 Blue Jays. Rode half of the third with 2 down. The 3-2. Varsho takes off. It's called strike 3 at the knees. Kirk goes down. 3rd strikeout of the day for Vasquez, who strands the 2-out Varsho double. No runs for the Blue Jays in the third. They're up 4-0, middle of the 3rd inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM.
Let's go, man!
We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Geico 500 from Talladega Superspeedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah!
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90, in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Oh, yeah!
Get closer to everything that moves you, wherever you are, with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah!
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
The Busted Open podcast is now available on YouTube. This is Dave LaGreca, host of Busted Open, the #1 pro wrestling show on the planet. You can now watch and listen to the award-winning Busted Open podcast every single day on YouTube. Our best interviews, behind-the-scenes access, and some of our best content from the past. All available right now when you go to youtube.com/@BustedOpenPodcast. Subscribe right now.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the third inning in San Diego. The Blue Jays leading the Padres 4-0. Jose Berrios looking into his red glove. Comes set. Graham Pauley at the plate. Left-handed hitter. First pitch. Outside ball one. Pauley recalled today from AAA El Paso. Coming up, Matthew Batten sent back down. Batten was up, covering at first base a little bit when Jake Cronenworth was injured. 1-0 pitch on the outside edge, strike one. Now they bring up Pauley, another guy who can play third because Manny Machado, dealing with some offseason surgery recovery still, is just DHing right now for San Diego. The 1-1. Swing and a miss, strike two. Isn't the first stint, though, in the majors this year for Pauley. He actually broke camp with the Padres. Went 2 for 15 in his first stretch of games. Did hit a homer, though. First season in the big leagues. He's bouncing that front right foot. The 1-2 from Berrios. Bounced up the middle, snatched up by the Gold Glover. He'll throw from the top of the mound over to first. One out.
Such a good play from Jose Berrios. Obviously the Gold Glove. Bo Bichette was standing right behind him, though, so he didn't have to try to snag that ball. A lot of times pitchers try to catch that. It deflects off their glove, and then somebody gets on first base. Luckily for Jose Berrios, he's a stud when it comes to defensive anything, so he snags that baseball.
And he's a confident fielder. You don't win a Gold Glove by letting your shortstop do the work. You got to get out there and...
I let that ball go.
Oh, first pitch to Xander Bogaerts, called strike one. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth, encouraging you to step up for the home team and shop local. Timbermart stores are family-owned and operated and know the value in giving back to the communities they serve. Now more than ever, it's important to shop local. Next pitch called strike two. In the Timbermart broadcast booth, I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Tom Young, our technical director, Show Ali, our host. Bogaerts is going to ask for time after that one. A questionable pitch. And Bogaerts was rung up on a pitch that looked low yesterday. Right-handed hitter ready to go, standing tall in the box. 2-strike pitch. Called strike three. Beautiful changeup on the bottom inside corner. Third strikeout of the day for Berrios. 2 outs.
Well, that fastball before that good changeup there wasn't a strike, but that changeup there, that was about as good as it gets. Just clips the corner of that strike box down and in on Xander Bogaerts. That's a really, really tough pitch to hit, to do anything with. You just lay off that or try to foul it off. That is a great changeup.
2 outs, the pitch to Tatis. Low 1-0.
That's also probably the last pitch that Xander Bogaerts thought was coming.
Yeah, I mean, not that many guys throw the right-on-right change. He had thrown so many fastballs. You know, the slurve obviously in his mind. 1-0. Fastball hit foul. 1-1.
That was that four-seamer that just ticked up a little bit in velo. It stayed straight. It stayed true at 96 up in the zone.
You don't see it a ton, but he will get a little bit more velocity on that than his sinker. The 1-1. Low, ball 2. 4-0 Blue Jays. 2 outs and the base is empty. Bottom of the third. Tatis with long braided hair, black sleeves and batting gloves. The pitch outside 3-1.
Padres not wearing their City Connect jerseys today. They are the traditional, I guess, gold, brown, and off-white.
Yeah.
Is that what they are?
Yeah, that's fair. 3-1. Swing and a ground ball foul. Third base side, 3-2.
And you can't see it today because the helmets are dark brown, but there's still that glob of pine tar on Fernando Tatis's helmet.
Wears a gold shin guard matching his brown and gold cleats. Actually, two different colored cleats for Tatis. 3-2. Bounce back to the mound. Berrios picks it up, looks at it for a moment, lobs it to first. Tatis didn't even really run. And that will be the inning. 2 comebackers and a strikeout. Berrios doing all the work himself in a 1-2-3 bottom of the third. 4-0 Blue Jays. Let's go to the fourth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
SiriusXM NFL Radio revs up live coverage of the 2024 NFL Draft in Detroit, starting April 25th.
With the first pick, the Chicago Bears select
Pick-by-pick coverage of every round, instant analysis from our experts, and interviews with players, coaches, and executives.
I want to be a legend. I want to have a golden jacket.
Hear the 2024 NFL Draft.
Winning a Super Bowl. That's what matters.
On NFL Radio Channel 88 and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get ready for the 2024 NFL Draft on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
touchdown, Caleb Williams.
Catch exclusive interviews with the top prospects as they begin their journey to the NFL. And hear pick-by-pick coverage of the 2024 Draft from Detroit.
With the first pick, the Chicago Bears select
Your home for the 2024 NFL Draft is SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
We're talking college basketball on ACC Today.
Great run for NC State men's basketball. The story of this team is one I don't think anybody will forget.
They were able to accomplish a lot. They captured the hearts and the minds of the nation. DJ Burns became an absolute star nationally. I love it.
ACC Today, weekdays from 8 to 11 a.m. Eastern. ACC Radio, Channel 371, and the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Gavin Biggio leading off the top of the fourth, takes a pitch low to start the inning. 4-0 Blue Jays. Road half of the fourth. Biggio with no at-bats so far, just a walk in the second. The 1-0. Down and in, 2-0. He was walked on 4 pitches in the second inning. He's seen 6 straight balls so far. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Second game of 3 for the Blue Jays at Petco Park. 2-0. Called strike 1. Seven, 8, 9 for the Blue Jays this inning. Here's the next pitch. And it hit Biggio on the right calf, it looked like. He jumped up for a moment, but he unvelcros his shin guard and walks down to first, or jogs down. He appears to be okay.
And that is a horrible place to get hit, right on the right calf. That'll be very sore tomorrow.
Oh. That one got way far away, and Biggio, I mean, it was better he exposed the calf, I think, than, because he turned a little bit, than anything where there's more bone. Biggio will take a lead off first. The pitch to IKF. Way inside, ball 1. Fourth inning is brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Luis Camposano out right now to the rubber, talking with the pitcher Randy Vasquez. Xander Bogaerts, the experienced second baseman in there, talking with the young pitcher as well.
Well, he hit Gavin Biggio, and then he almost hit Kiner Falefa. Obviously not with a fastball. It was just a spinning curveball, but and here comes the trainer.
And I'm wondering also, so the trainer's coming out.
I don't think so.
The Blue Jays, I'm just guessing here, but you can hear, is it too late to check that? Is it too late to check that in the background? I wonder if the Blue Jays potentially think that IKF was hit by that pitch. Before we get to that, though, it is trainer Mike Rogow on the mound right now. Ruben Niebla, the pitching coach as well, talking with Vasquez. And he's going to step back to the rubber, maybe fire a couple warm-up pitches here just to make sure everything's all right.
It looked like either his nail was cracking or he had a blister issue. He was showing it to the trainer, to the manager.
Throws a fastball and
not the manager.
Yes, Mike Schilt was thrown out of this game at the conclusion of the first. And there is no bench coach for the Padres. One of two teams in Major League Baseball who don't have a bench coach. It's the Padres, and then it's the Milwaukee Brewers. And Vasquez is going to remain on the mound. IKF getting ready to step back in. Blue Jays up 4-0. Runner on first. Nobody out. Top of the fourth, and a 1-ball, no-strike count. The right-on-right offering from Randy Vasquez. Inside, check swing by IKF. Appeal to first, no swing, says Adrian Johnson, 2-0. Take a look at the out-of-town scores in just a moment. The 2-0. IKF lines the ball to center. Running back is Merrill, and he makes the catch. That was smoked by Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, but hit a little bit too true. The center fielder reels it in. 1 down. Let's look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in '92. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. First with the runner on first and 1 out. The pitch to Kevin Kiermaier. 4-0 Blue Jays, top of the fourth. Vasquez will turn and throw to first. A dive back from Biggio. A lot of AL East games earlier today, and they've all wrapped up. Tampa Bay Rays and the New York Yankees got underway early today. 1 o'clock start. Here's the pitch to the longtime Ray Kiermaier. It's high ball 1. Rays outlasted the Yankees in a pitcher's duel in that game. 2-0 was the final score in 10 innings. It went zeros into extra innings. One 0 to Kiermaier. Called strike, looked outside, 1-1. Nestor Cortez was really good for the Yankees in 7 scoreless. Zach Eflin just as good in 6 scoreless. But Jose Caballero doubled in a run. Ben Rortvedt, the former Yankee, who was traded the day before the season, comes up with an RBI single in that game. 1-1. Inside into the backstop. Scooting up to second is Biggio. He'll round. And he's even walking a bit down the line, but decides to head back to second. Second wild pitch today for Vasquez.
That actually looked like a catchable ball. Campusano kind of just whiffs on it. It wasn't a great pitch. It was a slider inside that Kiermaier had to get away from. But a big league catcher has to make that play.
Yeah, they ruled it a wild pitch, but you could have made a pass ball argument. The pitch, swing and a hot shot ground ball. Sliding stop at second by Bogaerts. He gets up and throws to first. Biggio will advance 90 feet. He's on third now, but a very nice play by longtime Red Sox Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah, he's so smooth. He's been such a good defensive player for so long. Obviously been a shortstop for forever. But even at second base, he makes that play look easy.
So 2 outs now, runner on third, top of the order, and George Springer. 4-0 Blue Jays. Road half of the fourth. The pitch to Springer. Fouled back, 0-1. Just to get back to that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard thing. So Rortvedt off to a hot start with the Rays. That was his 10th hit with the Rays. He had 8 total as a Yankee in 2 very injury-marred seasons.
Isn't that what the Rays do, though?
They
pick you up and make you great.
0-1 to Springer. Popped up behind the plate. Campusano takes off his mask, but he'll watch it fall into the stands. 0-2. Other AL East scores: Boston Red Sox defeat the Pittsburgh Pirates for the second straight day. A 4-2 win for Boston. Masataka Yoshida with 3 hits, including a homer, drove 2 in. 0-2 to Springer. Hit on the ground, left side, speared by the third baseman Pauly. Throw over to first. just in time. Springer was legging it out. Pauley's arm has already caused an error once today, but that one a good throw. And Biggio stranded at third base. No runs, no hits for the Blue Jays. One left on. Middle of the fourth. It's 4-0 Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza, and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Hey, this is Kevin Gosman. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host today. Nick Blackmore, our producer. Tom Young, our technical director. 4-0 Blue Jays, last of the fourth. Jake Cronenworth leads off for the Padres. 3-4-5 for San Diego. The pitch. Fastball in there, strike one. It's Manny Machado on deck and Jurickson Profar in the hole. Cronenworth is one of two Padres to reach base so far today. He walked in the first. 0-1. Sprayed left side. That'll get through the 5-6 hole and roll into left field. A base hit.
That was the first mistake I've seen Jose Berrios make today. It was a fastball about belt high, middle, and Cronenworth just drills it the other way.
Cronenworth kind of inside outed that ball over to left field. And now the only other Padre with a hit so far today, Manny Machado, is at the plate. Machado pinwheels the bat and brings his left foot back, wide open stance. The pitch. Slurve, low, ball one.
There's a huge hole on the right side of the infield. Vlad is holding on Cronenworth at first base, and then Kevin Biggio is shading towards second, almost right behind second base.
That's where Machado picked up his hit in the first inning, over to the right side. 1-0. Breaking ball lifted to short. Machado drops his bat and puts his head down. Varsho's going to run in and make the call and catch it behind Bichette. 1 out.
That was a beautiful backup slider from Jose Berrios. Obviously unintentional, but so hard to hit because Machado's expecting that ball to break out over the middle of the plate, and it just stays on the inside part. And he kind of gets twisted up a little bit and just pops it up.
Pardon me, off the top of the inning I said Jurickson Profar to hit. He was tossed out of this game 3 innings ago. It's Jose Azocar batting for the first time. The pitch. Backdoor sinker, strike one.
Well, we both made that mistake today then. Me with the manager and you with Jurickson Profar.
Both got tossed at the same time. First Profar, then Schilt. A look at first from Berrios, the 0-1. Fouled back, 0-2. First appearance of the series for Azocar, a Venezuelan who signed with the Tigers in 2012. Never played in the majors, though, for the Tigers. Reached minor league free agency, which comes after 6 years. Re-signed in their minor leagues. Still didn't make it. And joined on with San Diego's system in 2021. 0-2. Fastball hit foul right side into the sea of hands.
Alejandro Kirk was almost standing up. That target was up around the letters of Azocar. And Jose Berrios threw that ball almost right down the middle. Azocar just fouling it off.
0-2 count, runner on first, 1 out, 4-0 Blue Jays, bottom 4. The pitch. Low with the heater. Third season in the bigs for the right-handed hitting Azokar. The pitch. Check swing on a slurve down and away. Appeal to first, no swing, says Adrian Johnson. 2-2. A leadoff first by Cronenworth. Vlad is step off the bag, holding him on. 2-2. Breaking ball hit up the middle into center field, a base hit. Kiermaier will gobble it up, throw it back in. That was another backup breaking ball, and Azokar got his hands inside of it.
That was the exact same pitch that Manny Machado popped up in the last at-bat, and Azokar is able to just pull his hands through, and he gets the barrel to that ball. Again, it's a hard pitch to hit. That backup slider, we make fun of it a lot, but it's a tough pitch to hit because the hitter is expecting it to break more than it does. But that's the second time we've seen that.
Second inning also that the Padres have threatened. Here's Ha-Seong Kim. 4-0 Blue Jays, 2 on 1 out. The pitch. Beautiful sinker for strike 1, right on that outside edge. Kim 0 for 1 with a pop-up to second. Batting average is in the low 200s this year, but Kim has walked 14 times and has 8 extra base hits. Next pitch down and away, 1-1.
You can see that Jose Berrios doesn't have quite the feel that he should have with that slider. He either leaves it spinning arm side or he tries to overcompensate and yanks it.
1-1. Missed with the slurve, although that was probably more on location. Kim just didn't bite. 2-1. Berrios trying to get out of a jam in the fourth. He stranded 2 with 2 outs in the first. 2-1. Called strike. 2-2.
Kim didn't like that call. He kind of dropped his shoulders a little bit, but that was a beautiful pitch. A sinker right on the outside corner.
Kim right back in the box, standing on just the toe of his front left foot, leaning back. A little Justin Turner in his stance. 2-2. Hit foul right side. Late swing. And Kim rocketed that ball into the Padre dugout near first.
If there's one guy that I want to emulate, it's probably Justin Turner. He's got all kinds of cool. Everything he does.
It's a lot going on in this stance.
But it's cool.
Oh, and it works. A look at Cronenworth in the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Through that good slurve. And Kim chased down and away. 4 strikeouts for Berrios, 2 outs in this inning with still runners on first and second.
Yeah, that was probably the best slurve that he's thrown all day. It starts as a strike, and that's the biggest thing. You have to make the hitter see it as a strike, and then it just drops out of the zone, and Kim has no chance and oddly runs back to the dugout. You don't see that very often.
Maybe after what happened earlier, you don't want to stay there too long. 2 on, 2 outs. Jackson Merrill up, left-handed hitting center fielder. Berrios deals. And it's fouled off the mask, I believe, of Kirk, who nods that he's okay. 0-1. Jackson Merrill, the 27th overall pick by the Padres in 2021 out of high school in Maryland. Thin goatee for the 21-year-old. He's staring out at Berrios, who peeks at Cronenworth on second and delivers. 0-1 pitch, hit in the air, shallow center. Kiermaier is racing in, slides, and he makes the play. Sitting down in a pose for a moment, holding the ball out. Berrios smiling. It's a nice play by Kiermaier to strand the 2 hits. No runs for the Padres through 4. 4-0 Blue Jays. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
When live music legends...
This is Trey Anastasio from Fish.
...launch their brand new residency at the Las Vegas Sphere.
I am indeed giddy. Thank you guys all for being here.
Catch the vibe live on the band's exclusive SiriusXM channel. Complete concerts, fan reaction, and more. Sphere Week on Fish Radio. Now through Monday. Channel 29 in the car and on the SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
It's a home run for Ronald Acuna.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to daily fantasy basketball to getting you ready for the NFL Draft, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
How you manage your team day in and day out will be the difference in where you finish in 2024.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the fifth inning, 4-0 Blue Jays. Randy Vasquez still on the mound, delivers his 77th pitch of the day, and misses low to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 1-0. Guerrero leading off, Bichette and Turner behind him, 1-0 pitch in there, 1-1. Blue Jays built their 4-0 lead, mostly in the first inning. A 3-run shot by Dalton Varsho, added 1 in the second. But it was Vlad with the first hit for Toronto today. He ducks out of the way of a pitch, 2-1. Guerrero with a double to left field in the first, came around to score. He did pop out to second in the second. Vasquez into the wind, his 80th pitch of the day. Outside ball 3. Randy Vasquez making his Major League debut, as we mentioned earlier, or not Major League debut, season debut. In the minors, he hadn't thrown more than 77 pitches in a start so far. Here's his 81st, and Guerrero with a huge swing. Fouls off the breaking ball right behind him, 3-2.
And he's actually looked pretty good tonight. He had a good fastball, good sink to it, mid-90s. He's only given up 1 earned run.
None of the runs in that first inning were earned, 3-2. Guerrero lofts a ball to right, sinking and down in front of right fielder Fernando Tatis Jr. Bit of a humpback liner, but for Vlad, a second hit today. He has 4 hits already in the series.
Yeah, he's at first laughing with a big smile on his face. That's the approach that he needs, especially late in counts. Just look to go the other way. You look to use the big part of the field, look to go the other way. You don't always have to hit a home run. I mean, he didn't hit that very hard, but he will take that all day long.
Here's Bo Bichette, runner on first, no outs. The pitch. Called strike 1. When he clearly adjusted, you know, he's up in the count. There's only 1 strike. He takes a big hack at a breaking ball. Now it's 2 strikes, and the swing was completely different. 0-1 to Bo. Inside.
Well, with 2 strikes, you have to adjust your swing. You have to cut down. You have to shorten up. You have to try to go the other way. You have to protect all those things that we know you have to do. Sometimes Vlad doesn't do that. He stays big, and that's why he strikes out so much. That's why he swings at those bad sliders that are off the plate.
1-1 pitch hit foul, 1-2. He's Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. 4-0 Blue Jays, top of the 5th. Guerrero on first, and Bo Bichette batting. Bo is 0 for 2. He reached on an error in the first inning. That's why the runs are unearned. The 3 in the first inning against Vasquez. 1-2. Bichette lifts a ball to left center field, but Merrill camps under it 10 feet in front of the track, makes the catch. 1 down. Let's go over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. 1 AL East game going on outside of the Blue Jays. It's Baltimore and Kansas City. Royals actually won the opener of that series. Baltimore looking to set the tone came out and scored 7 runs in the second inning. But it's a 9-7 game right now. It was 8-7 at one point. The Royals scored 3 in the 6th and 4 in the 7th. It's bottom 8 with Kansas City hitting down 2. Pitch to Justin Turner, inside 1-0. Turner, originally a draft pick of the Baltimore Orioles. He's 0 for 2 today, a strikeout and a flyout. Guerrero on first, 1 out, top 5. The 1-0. Fastball in there, 1-1.
And you always know Justin Turner's coming to the plate in San Diego because you can hear the boo birds. They are relentless.
Turner, of course, didn't really play with Baltimore much. Played a few years with the Mets, but it's his time with the Dodgers that has Padres fans so upset. The 1-1. Called strike. Just grabbed the outside corner, maybe. Turner didn't love the call. He turns back for a moment, but gets ready to go again.
And, of course, San Diego just 2.5 hours south of L.A. So that rivalry was pretty cool.
The 1-2. Down and away, Turner takes. They even met each other in the 2022 playoffs, the last big run for San Diego. They beat the Dodgers in the NLDS, which was the conclusion of Justin Turner's Dodger career, at least for now. Padres would lose to the Phillies in the CS. Phillies would lose to the Astros in the World Series. 2-2. Swing and a foul back. Elevated fastball. Turner somehow just tipped it.
I actually was at the Phillies Padres game at Petco as a fan. That was my first baseball game as a fan. Probably, I can't even remember the last time I went as a fan. And I was sitting with the Nolas. It was Austin Nola versus Aaron Nola. That was pretty cool.
2-2. Turner fights it off, foul again.
His dad obviously was very nervous.
Although you know you're getting a win.
Yeah, but you have to comfort somebody.
For sure. For sure. Time called, but now Turner back into the box. Vasquez never really got off the rubber. It's Guerrero on first, 1 out, and a 2-2 count. A peek at the runner in the pitch. Turner pops another one up, foul out of play.
That was a backup slider. We've seen so many of those today, just fool hitters and really make hitters have awkward swings, and Justin Turner, no different, has that awkward swing on a backup slider inside.
He's battling here. The 8th pitch of the at-bat coming from Vasquez. Poked foul and spoiled into the seats again.
He's so good at that. He's just made a career of just spoiling good pitches and waiting for pitchers to make a mistake. Of course, you have to hit the mistake, which he's very good at as well.
He's fouled off 4 straight 2-strike pitches. It's a 2-2 count. The next pitch. And Turner will hit it foul again. Hey, they might not like him, but he's offering a lot of souvenirs to San Diego Padres fans.
And a baseball is what, $25? Something like that?
Is it?
I think
it's
expensive.
A baseball in a while.
I mean, it's real leather.
Like an official Major League Baseball,
right?
You're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, because like you go to like sporting goods store.
No. Not the plastic ones. I'm talking the real deal.
2-2. Turner pops it up. This one should be playable. Back of first. Cronenworth going back into foul territory. It drops behind him. And really, it shouldn't have been Cronenworth's ball. He was on a dead sprint, but that was a much easier play for Tatis, who pulled off and let Cronenworth go after it.
Well, that was an impossible play for Cronenworth. He doesn't look very happy walking back to first base. I think Fernando Tatis was a little bit tentative there. He kind of pulls up. He didn't want to run into Cronenworth, and if Tatis had nobody in front of him, he makes that play with ease.
I mean, he was the gold and platinum glover last year. It is just his second year in right field, but again, gold glover in his first. So now another 2-2 to Justin Turner. Swinging a line shot right at the second baseman. Bogart scrambles to second, steps on it, throws to first. Inning ending, double play. No runs, the Guerrero single, no errors, nobody left. Middle of the 5th inning, it's 4-0 Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Embrace the power.
That is bold.
And and speed of the NTT IndyCar Series on SiriusXM.
Joseph Newgarden wins the Indy 500.
The season rolls on Sunday afternoon at 3 Eastern with the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach.
That was sweet.
Nice job, guys.
From the green to the checkers.
Flies under the twin checkers.
Hear every thrilling lap live on IndyCar Nation Channel 218, NBC Sports Audio Channel 85.
Alex Palou.
Thank you so much.
And on the all-new SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM.
Let's go!
We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Geico 500 from Talladega Superspeedway.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah!
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah!
The most important person in sports is you, the fan.
Let me tell you something. I'm a real fan.
And your place for sports talk is Mad Dog Sports Radio, where your voice is heard all day long.
I couldn't wait to get into the truck, turn on 82.
Sharing the thrill of victory.
The joy, the jubilation. I can't stop smiling.
And the agony of defeat.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888-MAD-DOG-6.
You gotta love sports.
Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the SiriusXM app.
Hey, baseball fans, the NBA postseason is in full swing, and your home for nonstop discussion every day and playoff action on the court every night is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and on the brand new SiriusXM app.
Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Tom Young, our technical director. 4-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the fifth, 8-9-1 for San Diego. Luis Camposano, Graham Pauley, and Xander Bogaerts will bat this inning against Blue Jays starter Jose Berrios. The pitch. Fastball, strike one. Berrios has allowed just 3 singles and a walk so far. He struck out 4, and he's about to throw his 65th pitch of the day. He's in his 5th inning of work. The 0-1. Hit on the ground, up the middle, and through into center field. Camposano with a leadoff single.
A good pitch, got in on the hands of Camposano, and he just finds the hole between Biggio and Bo Bichette.
So that'll be the 4th base hit today for the Padres, and Graham Pauley stepping in. Left-handed hitting third baseman that hit a comebacker to Berrios to start the 3rd. Camposano leading off first. Nobody out. 4-0 Blue Jays. Last of the 5th. The pitch. Back up slurve, 1-0. It missed outside. After Pauley, we'll update you on the injury news. Bit of an update with the Blue Jays to be had. 1-0. Smoked down the right side, but it lands foul. The liner going over the head of the first base coach, David Macias, 1-1. By the way, on the managerial situation for the Padres, Mike Shilt's been tossed out of the game. He was tossed in the 1st, and they don't have a bench coach. The 1-1. Hit in the air foul left side, 1-2. Received word that it's catching coach and high A manager 2 years ago with the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, Brian Esposito, who is running things right now. We had seen Tim Leeper giving some instruction earlier on, but you can't really be out as the third base coach and manage at the same time because things need to be discussed while you would be out there. 1-2. Ollie fouls it back. A good tight fastball on the inside edge.
And being a third base coach actually is pretty tough. You have to have a lot of eye-hand coordination. I'm not joking.
No, I believe it.
I know some third base coaches that have to practice where their hand goes, all that stuff.
1-2. Called a ball. Sure looked like a strike at the bottom of the zone with the slurve.
Well, that was a strike. But anyways, so you can't just give that position up and let somebody else do it because not everybody can do it.
Berrios takes a breath, peeks at the runner, the 2-2. Called strike 3. That slurve certainly hit the zone. 1 down.
Well, the slurve before that was actually a better pitch and a strike, and then that one was a little bit of a backup pitch, but still a strike.
5th strikeout of the day for Berrios. First out of the bottom of the 5th. Runner on first 4-0 Toronto over San Diego. Here's Xander Bogaerts. 0 for 2 today, ground out and a strikeout. Right on right pitch. Called strike one. Let's look at the injury report brought to you by Bergmanis Priro Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Priro Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Priro will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca. 0-1. Fouled off, 0-2. Today, the Blue Jays making a roster move. Chad Green has been placed on the 15-day IL, retroactive to the 17th of April, so he can return in 12 days rather than 15. It's a teres major strain. So not a major strain, but a strain in his teres major is what the muscle is called. 0-2. Check swing tapper foul off the backstop. And that's upper back, kind of behind the shoulder, around your lat muscles. And some soreness there and a strain, clearly, for Chad Green, who felt that throwing yesterday just in the outfield.
Yeah, we were talking earlier before the game about the timeline, perhaps, and you said that he's going to not throw for 3 days. And I said that he would be back in a month. I just know that because I know that injury well.
0-2 is lined to center, down for a base hit. Kiermaier picks it up on one hop. Bogaerts on first. Campusano moves up to second. 2 on with 1 out for the second straight inning.
And maybe a month is a little bit long, but I would say we probably won't see him in a big league game for, I would guess, 3 weeks.
John Schneider did not get very specific. The only thing he said is that he won't throw for a few days. But the Blue Jays making a corresponding move, bringing Nate Pearson back up to the majors. Going to be a mound visit here for Pete Walker. Talking to Jose Berrios with Fernando Tatis Jr. about to come up. First and second and 1 out. The only other injury news, or I guess somewhat injury news, but they're both active now. John Schneider did confirm when asked that Jordan Romano is cool for back-to-backs at this point. Romano pitched yesterday. Maybe he comes in today. Schneider did talk about how he was impressed with his outing. Said he looked much sharper in yesterday's game than he did in his debut of the season against the Yankees. And he said no restrictions on Eric Swanson either. Maybe the biggest matchup of the game now. Pete Walker back in the dugout. Berrios back on the mound. 4-0 Toronto. 1 out, bottom of the 5th. Fernando Tatis Jr. steps in. First pitch. Outside, 1-0.
I like the way they tried to attack him there. Tried to throw a fastball down and away. Good hard sinker at 94. I tried to do that again.
Fastball location has been good today. 1-0. High fly ball. Deep right field. Springer twisting at the track. Reaches up and he makes the catch. Bangs into the wall and tosses it back to the cutoff man, Biggio. Tatis Jr. just missed a homer. Berrios did deliver that fastball to the outside edge, but Tatis must have been looking for it, and he misses a 3-run home run by 5-10 feet.
Well, that fastball was just a little bit elevated, and that's exactly what Tatis was looking for, a fastball on the outside part of the plate that was elevated, and he just missed it. George Springer catches that baseball up against the fence in right field, and Jose Berrios clapping his hands, pounding that bare hand into his glove and kind of pointing out at George Springer. Nice catch out there.
Springer was twisting and turning a little bit. Does look like there's a little bit of wind today. First pitch to Jake Cronenworth, outside 1-0. Berrios still not out of the woods. Cronenworth has reached both times he's come to the plate today. 1 for 1 with a walk and a single. First and second, 2 outs, 4-0 Toronto, bottom 5. Berrios spins, throws to second, and back with a dive, Campusano.
Well, that's the second time we've seen that play, probably by design today. Berrios with such quick feet. He loves spinning and making that good throw to second base. Hasn't really worked yet today, but.
A look back at the runner at second now, 1-0. Called low, borderline pitch, 2 balls, no strikes. A big part of Jose Berrios' early success this year has been pitching against left-handed hitters like Jake Cronenworth. Entering today, left-handed hitters were 2 for 31 against Berrios with a pair of singles. 2-0. Low ball 3.
Although that was not a strike, I love that pitch selection. A 2-0 changeup, a little bit down in the zone. Like I've said so many times, that pitch has to start in the strike zone so the pitcher thinks it's a strike and offers at it. That pitch right there started out of the zone so Cronenworth doesn't swing.
3-0 fastball in there at the knees, 3-1. You don't want to lose Cronenworth now, though, because Manny Machado's on deck. If you walk Cronenworth, Machado comes up as the tying run in the 5th. Some movement down the left field line in the Blue Jay pen. 3-1. Fastball outside, ball 4. Second walk for Cronenworth, and the bases are loaded. Campusano to third, Bogarts to second.
Well, needless to say, this is a huge AB for Jose Berrios. Manny Machado is actually seeing the ball a little bit better. You saw him go the other way with a nice line drive early in the game. I attack him with a good hard sinker away early.
Alejandro Kirk is out discussing the game plan right now with Jose Berrios. Trevor Richards getting loose for the Blue Jays. On the other side, Johnny Brito and Yuki Matsui warming up for the Padres. Brito a righty, Matsui a lefty. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa clapping into his glove. He's trying to will Berrios here to an out that would help him strand the bases loaded. He's left 4 runners on base so far today. Berrios looks out beyond third. And the pitch to Machado. Popped up. Left side of the infield. IKF has it. He makes the call and makes the catch. Jose Berrios dances out of trouble again, points his glove at Alejandro Kirk, and walks back to the dugout. 4-0 Blue Jays through 5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Which Looney Dogger are you? The fork and knifer, splatterer, condiment queen, or Big Dipper? This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. You will have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the stadium. Then show the world you're a Looney Dog style. Because whether you're the mustard maven or ketchup king, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. So don't miss out on this deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's, every Tuesday home game.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Tuesdays on City TV. Here we are in Canada, where Canada's about to celebrate our talent, our people. It's the biggest season of Canada's Got Talent.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's an absolute yes from me.
You, my friend, are undeniable.
This season will change a life. This is the gateway to your dreams coming true. Canada's Got Talent. All new Tuesdays, 8/7 Central on City TV or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Romano offers an 0-2. Swing and a miss. There are 2 down.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 6th inning, 4-0 Blue Jays, and a call to the bullpen for the Padres. Right-hander Johnny Brito is going to take over here, with Dalton Varsho, Alejandro Kirk, and Kevin Biggio scheduled to hit for the Blue Jays in the road half of the 6th. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Tom Young, our technical director, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Show Ali, our host. Brito, the right-hander, with hiked-up pant legs, delivers the first pitch, and Varsho fouls it off. 0-1. Randy Vasquez, the starter for San Diego, ends up with an awkward line. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, a 1. Fouled back 0-2. But only one of those 4 runs earned. Dalton Varsho, the hitter now, hit a 3-run shot in the first inning, but he hit it after there was an error and there were 2 outs. So none of those 3 runs were earned. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Varsho, who had 2 extra base hits so far, goes down there. 1 out.
Johnny Brito with the big split change. That thing was nasty. Yeah, that's a changeup. Down in the zone. That was 91 miles an hour with good downward action. That had split action to it. Dalton Varsho just swings right over it.
Brito actually leads with his changeup. Throws that almost 35% of the time. First pitch to Kirk. Called strike 1.
Kind of has that Iron Mike delivery. Almost directly over the top. 97 miles an hour. Then he comes with that big breaking changeup.
With 1 out, the 0-1. Swing and a pop-up behind the plate, 0-2. Brito, like Vasquez, acquired from the Yankees. Off to a tough start to the year after being traded over in the Juan Soto trade. ERA around 7 in 9 previous appearances. 0-2. Kirk pokes it foul, out of play. Let's take a look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Baltimore Orioles have wrapped up a win over Kansas City after leading 7-0 early on. They hang on to win 9-7. 0-2 to Kirk. Popped up foul again, right side, and again it will find the fans. Kirk trying to battle here. 2 straight foul balls with 2 strikes. Elsewhere on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, NHL playoff action going on today. First, the 0-2 to Kirk. Checks his swing on a breaking ball away. Didn't go around. It's 1-2. Boston Bruins with a big lead on the Toronto Maple Leafs in Game 1. 4-1 right now, the Bruins lead. Leafs did just score a minute ago. David Kampf scores 100 seconds into the third period as the Leafs look to engineer a big comeback. Next pitch to Kirk is served to right center field. Tatis scrambling over, makes the catch. 2 outs. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Here comes Cavan Biggio, who hasn't gotten a chance to swing the bat really today. He walked on 4 pitches in the second inning, and in a 2-1 count in the fourth, he was hit by a pitch by Randy Vasquez. It's now Johnny Brito, the hard-throwing right-handed reliever. The pitch. Biggio lifts a ball to center field. Merrill, the center fielder, on the run. In left center, he makes the catch just in front of the track and ends the inning. Blue Jays go down 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th, but lead 4-0 middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on SiriusXM Sports.
The NBA postseason is here. The Western Conference first round has Game 1 that pits LeBron James and the Lakers versus Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. Catch the play-by-play and analysis beginning at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on your 24/7 home for hoops, SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86, and the SiriusXM app.
SiriusXM Sports, wherever you are, your team plays here.
The South Carolina Gamecocks are on top of the women's college basketball world yet again.
Perfection for South Carolina. 38 games, 38 wins.
We're reacting to the perfect season and talking to the biggest names right here on Channel 374.
Congratulations, Coach Saley. What does this particular title mean to you?
This title is pretty special because it was unexpected.
Keep it locked into SiriusXM SEC Radio as we continue to break it all down and celebrate the Gamecocks' 3rd national title.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win whichever fantasy sport you play. Right now on Channel 87 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Radio Network.
Home half of the 6th inning at Petco Park in San Diego. Jose Berrios still on the mound for the Blue Jays. The starter into his 6th inning of work with the Blue Jays up 4-0. First pitch to Jose Herzog. Fastball hit foul, 0-1. On Ben Schulman to my left, Chris LaRue. Herzog 1 for 1 today, coming off the bench in the 2nd inning in replacement of Jurickson Profar, who was thrown out of the game. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Good slurve there by Berrios. 0-2.
And as soon as he came into that game, defensively, he made that big error in left field.
Oh-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Down in the dirt. Kirk applies the tag, and Herzog is out. 6 strikeouts today for Jose Berrios.
Berrios is now at 86 pitches, so this is probably his last inning, I would imagine. The only guy that I would say is not his last inning is if Chris Bassett was on the mound right now.
Yeah, he went 115 this year. Berrios is going on back-to-back 100-pitch games, 100-plus. Here's his pitch to Ha-Sung Kim. Breaking ball lands at the top of the zone. Strike 1.
But he's been really good tonight. His slider still isn't where it needs to be, but that sinker is just, the command of the sinker is so good.
Backup breaking ball hits the inside edge. Strike 2. Kim has turned around. He's talking to the home plate umpire, and now he'll ask for time.
If you went based on the strike box, it should technically be 2-0 right now, not 0-2.
First one I thought was maybe in there. That one was inside for sure. The 2-strike pitch. Fastball popped up, foul territory, first base side. Kirk sprinting over, but that will bounce into the second row of seats. Skipped off a couple hands and fell into the feet area. Still 0-2.
Yeah, such a tough play for Alejandro Kirk. You can see him looking up at the ball, then looking down at the dugout, looking up at the ball, and then looking up about 5 or 6 times. Tough play for a catcher. That was about 5 rows deep in the crowd.
He and Berrios, though, have worked together well again. Given the signs through the pitch comm to Jose, who comes set. 0-2. Lifted to right center. Kiermaier pointing at Springer, who veers into right center field and makes the catch. Kiermaier had started the play shaded over to left center, and so he immediately was trying to let Springer know that that was Springer's ball rather than Kiermaier's.
Well, Kiermaier's a center fielder, and the center fielder is the guy that makes the decisions out there. But I guess if George Springer wants it, he has to scream extra loud, and he was yelling at Kevin Kiermaier there. Sometimes it's tough to hear each other, especially in San Diego when the crowd is cheering, but George Springer wanted that baseball.
That outfield really the anchor of this really strong Blue Jays defensive unit. First pitch to Jackson Merrill, hit well to left field. Varsho on the track, leaps, and he makes the catch. It just doesn't stop for Varsho in left. Another highlight reel play, and his catch gets Berrios through 6 innings scoreless. 4-0 Blue Jays go into the 7th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep. Because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
the Blue Jays are inviting you to work from Dome. Put it in your calendar. 307 weekday starts this season. You can work from Dome with friends or coworkers at Rogers Center. It's a game changer. Make the ballpark your office for the afternoon. Work from Dome, 307 weekday starts. Let's touch base. Check out ticket options on BlueJays.com/workfromdome.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
That ball is gone. Third home run in 4 batters for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 7th, 4-0 Blue Jays in San Diego. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa leads off for Toronto. The first pitch from Johnny Brito, outside 1-0. Padres reliever in his second inning of work. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Kiner-Falefa 0 for 2 with a fielder's choice and a lineout. Did come around to score when he had that fielder's choice in the second. 1-0 pitch. Fastball in there. Strike one. IKF hitting .250 right now after the 2 outs in this game. 1-1 pitch is hit well, right center, sinking and down. Tatis will jog over and pick it up. Kiner-Falefa stops at first. It's a leadoff single for the Blue Jays. Come hungry and leave happy. Every Tuesday night at Rogers Center means Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Grab your friends and come on Tuesday, April 30th, to eat some delicious dogs and help smash a Looney Dogs record. Purchase your tickets now at BlueJays.com/LooneyDogs. Kevin Kiermaier to the plate. IKF on first, no outs. A peek at the runner by Brito in the pitch. In there, strike one with the change.
Do you have any idea what the record is for one game, Looney Dogs?
I don't have it on me now, but by our next Looney Dogs night, I promise to have it.
You'll have the answer. Thank you. I'm always disappointed when you don't have the answer.
Well, I'm not a computer, contrary to popular belief. Throw over to first. IKF back safely. Kiner-Falefa can run. Has a couple 20 stolen base seasons in his career. 0-1. Hit on the ground to the second baseman, Bogarts. Flip over to Kim for one, back to first. 4-6-3 double play erases the leadoff single.
I would love, if this game stays at least 4 runs, I would love to see Nate Pearson in this ballgame.
Pearson was throwing the weighted ball around earlier, so there's a shot. Blue Jays would love to, maybe even if they expanded the lead. Still probably would see Pearson in the game. Blue Jays went to a lot of their bullpen yesterday. First pitch to George Springer with 2 outs, bases empty. And Springer hits a high fly ball to right. Tatis chase back to the track, reaches up, makes a 2-handed catch, and ends the inning. Leadoff single, but the Blue Jays still bring the minimum up in the top of the 7th and lead 4-0 at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
It's sports streaming season. This spring, get set for nonstop action on Sportsnet Plus.
Unbelievable.
Every electrifying game of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Did you see that?
All the knockout moments in UFC. Awe-inspiring action from the NBA playoffs. Plus, the Toronto Blue Jays are back in full swing. Catch all the can't-miss moments that matter most to you. Because when it happens in sports, it happens on Sportsnet Plus. Subscribe at sportsnetplus.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Marshall smashes the ball to right field. It's gone!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Bottom of the 7th inning, Toronto up 4-0 over San Diego. And Jose Berrios' day is done after 6 scoreless innings. Genesis Cabrera is going to come in, the left-hander, facing 8-9-1 in the Padre order. It'll be Luis Campusano, Graham Pauley, and Xander Bogaerts.
Jose Berrios finished the day at 91 pitches. I thought that there was a chance he could come out and maybe get a quick inning here, and if he lets a guy on, then take him out of the game. But Jose Berrios obviously makes the call.
First pitch to Luis Campusano, low ball 1. A great day for Berrios.
I would imagine it was Jose Berrios that made the call.
I don't know.
I think so.
You would know more than me, for sure. 1-0 to Campusano. Inside 2-0. Berrios' day ends, though. 6 scoreless innings, 5 hits, no runs. He did walk 2, and he struck out 6. Berrios has now thrown 21 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. The 2-0. Fastball outside, ball 3.
And I don't remember Jose Berrios' sinker being as good as it is right now. Having the movement that it has, having the command that he has of it.
It's looked really good so far. 3-0. Fastball high and outside, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk by Cabrera to start his outing. And now a pinch hitter set to come in for Graham Pauley. Eggy Rosario, a right-handed swinger, is going to come in with the lefty Genesis Cabrera on the mound.
And that is about the last thing that you want to have happen. Just 4 uncompetitive pitches there, putting the leadoff runner on, and more often than not, if you walk the leadoff guy, he's coming around to score. That's the last thing that Cabrera wanted to do right there.
Trying to bounce back now against Rosario, who subs into the game for the 2nd straight time. Little communication between Ramon De Jesus and Genesis Cabrera, and now everyone's good to go. Left-hander Cabrera in his 8th appearance of the season. Set. And the pitch. Fastball in there, strike 1. Rosario pinch hit yesterday for Tyler Wade in a similar situation against Southpaw Tim Meza and struck out on a 3-2 fastball. The 0-1. Breaking ball drops in there. The slow curve at 78, and that makes it 0-2.
Good pitch right there. Now you expand. You either bury something or you elevate with that fastball. I would bury something here.
Kirk sets up down and in, tapping the ground with his glove. 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball, low. Rosario lays off of it.
That was a really good take from Rosario. He's nodding his head. It's almost like he was fooled. That pitch was way too close to be taking as comfortably as he did.
It was a 2nd straight curveball from Cabrera. Left-hander kicks and fires. Fastball hit in the air. Right center field. Springer on the run. It's over his head, and it hops into the wall. Picked up by Kiermaier on the way to 3rd and stopping there. Campusano. Rosario has a pinch hit stand-up double.
Well, Alejandro Kirk's target was elevated. That pitch ended up being arm side high, and Rosario just does a good job of sticking the bat out and going with it, using that big part of the field and going the opposite way. A really nice piece of hitting from Rosario on a misplaced fastball.
Yeah, really impressive still, even with the spot miss. That pitch was way up and out of the zone. And now the Padres creating some havoc. 4-0 Blue Jays, bottom 7. Runners on 2nd and 3rd for the Friars. Here's Xander Bogaerts, the pitch. Hit on the ground at the shortstop Bichette. He'll lob it over to first. The run's going to score from third. Camposano comes in, and the Padres are on the board. RBI ground out for Bogaerts. 4-1.
I think the Blue Jays in that situation will gladly trade an out for a run. They have Jimmy Garcia up in the bullpen right now. Here comes John Schneider.
They don't want to see this go any further, especially with Fernando Tatis Jr. about to hit. So Cabrera's day is done after 3 batters faced and a run allowed. Here comes Jimmy Garcia. Let's go over to our host today, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. And before we check out that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, a reminder that we do have Jace Talk this evening. Julia Kreutz and I will stick around tonight, take your phone calls and your text after the final out. 590-590, name and location. That is the People's Text line. You can shoot us a text right now, and I will throw out the numbers to call after this one's in the books. On that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, the Stanley Cup playoffs in full swing. We'll begin with the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the New York Islanders earlier. Canes grabbing a 3-1 win over the Isles to open the playoffs. Newcomer Evgeny Kuznetsov with his first playoff goal in Carolina Red. They take a 1-0 series lead. We also have the Leafs in Boston to play the Bruins as our other matchup going this evening. William Nylander was not active for this game. His first game missed due to injury since November 2016. Right now, Boston up 4-1 in the third period thanks to John Beecher, Brandon Carlo, and 2 goals from Jake DeBrusk. David Kampf with the lone goal for the Leafs. Leafs Talk with J.D. Bunkus, Sam McKee, and Justin Bourne will be up on YouTube and Sportsnet Plus immediately following the conclusion of this game at TD Garden in Boston. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue. Jimmy Garcia on the mound in this game.
Thank you, Show. We're here in the Timber Mart broadcast booth, and the Blue Jays going to the guy who's been their toughest reliever so far this season. Jimmy Garcia has absolutely dominated, but he's brought into a difficult situation facing Fernando Tatis Jr., trying to protect a 4-1 lead with a runner in scoring position and 1 out.
Yeah, this is a difficult situation, but this is what he's paid for. Coming into high leverage situations like this, throw that sinker on the outside part of the plate, throw that slider down in the zone. He knows exactly what to do here. You don't want to throw him anything down the middle of the plate, that's for sure. You do have that open base at first base.
Garcia in 9 previous appearances this season, an ERA below 1, an opponent's batting average at 0.65, and he's striking out 13 batters per 9 thus far. Petco Park crowd, though, has been brought back into this game after the lone Padres run. Again, it's 4-1. Eggy Rosario on second. 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Tatis at the plate. Garcia peaks and now fires. Fastball hit foul, 0-1.
And just like that, Jimmy Garcia hits the target of Alejandro Kirk. You come into a high leverage situation like this and you want that reliever to just dot that fastball, and he did exactly just that.
Garcia's got a couple breaking balls, a couple fastballs, and a changeup. The 0-1. Fastball grounded to third. Speared by IKF. Throws a bit high, but Guerrero reaches up and makes the catch. 2 outs.
2 good sinkers down in the zone. He's so good, at least this year and the second half of last year, of just locating that sinker. There's so much movement. I said earlier that Jose Berrios' sinker seems like it's moving more this year than it did last year, and I feel the same about Jimmy Garcia.
And because he's been so good at commanding it too, he's been really pitch efficient so far. His outings seem to go by quickly. Here's Jake Cronenworth, 1 for 1 with a single and 2 walks. First pitch breaker is in there, 0-1.
And then he just flips that backdoor breaking ball. Jake Cronenworth nodding his head like, yep, that was a great pitch. Sneaking that easy strike in there.
Runner on second, 2 outs, bottom 7, 4-1 Blue Jays, 0-1 pitch, down low, 1-1. Just on a quick peek at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. One of the rivals of the Padres, the Dodgers, losing today 6-4 at their home ballpark to the Mets. 1-1, swing and a miss, strike 2. Starling Marte with a 3-run homer in that game for New York. That's our look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. In San Diego, it's 4-1 Blue Jays. Runner on second, 2 outs. Cronenworth asks for time and starts unstrapping and restrapping his elbow protection as Garcia stands on the rubber getting ready to go for the next pitch.
This is a huge pitch right here. I'm assuming he's going to elevate a fastball. He loves to do that with 2 strikes.
The 1-2. Elevated fastball, hit to left center. Kiermaier running, slows it down and makes the catch. And ends the inning. Garcia comes in, records 2 quick outs, and limits the Padres, who grabbed 1 on 1 hit off of Genesis Cabrera. They left 1 on as well. 4-1 for the Blue Jays. Going to the top of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
They are among the greatest to ever play their sports.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time scoring leader.
They are legends and icons.
Larry Bird hit the shot with 2 seconds left. I don't know how he did it.
And you can hear them right now on the all-new SiriusXM app.
We are here with Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark.
I'm so focused on winning. It's never anything I ever take for granted.
Here comes Larry Bird, the Hall of Famer, and he just won Legend of the Year.
Legend of the Year, isn't that something?
For access to the game's greats, rely on the leader in sports audio, SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
This is Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and host of the SiriusXM original podcast, Black Diamonds. Hear stories about the legends of the Negro Leagues and conversations with the all-time greats they've influenced, like 5-time World Series champion Derek Jeter.
I don't care what race you are. You need to know your past. This is U.S. history. It's not just baseball history.
Hear over 70 episodes of the award-winning Black Diamonds podcast, available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Blue Jays fans, your manager, John Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio's Power Alley every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
I got all the confidence in the world in Joe Romano. I've known him for a long time. I know his demeanor. And I always say, when you're talking about a closer giving up a couple runs in the 9th inning, it's just so much more magnified than a starting pitcher giving up a 2-run homer.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89 and the SXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90. Radio Network.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leads off the top of the 8th. Blue Jays up 4-1 on the Padres. The pitch from Johnny Brito. Fastball in there, strike 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 2 scoreless innings of relief for Johnny Brito so far. First time he's facing Vlad, though, who's 2 for 3 today with a double and a run scored. The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. It obviously hasn't been a banner start to the year, the one that Guerrero or people around the Blue Jays wanted, but the batting average creeping up now at .241 for Vlad. 1-1. Swing and a ground ball up the middle, ranging to his left, picked up by Kim. He whizzes it over to first to beat the sprinting Guerrero. 1 out.
Yeah, before that out there, he's hitting 241. That's not horrible. This is a very small sample size.
And it was 190 a couple days ago.
And the biggest thing for me, I watch him. I watch his swing. I watch his takes. I watch the pitches that he swings at. And everything is creeping up, not only the batting average.
1 down. Here's Bo Bichette, 0 for 3 today. Reached on an error and scored in the first. The pitch. Breaking ball flipped in, strike 1. 4-1 Blue Jays. All 4 runs coming in the first 2 innings. 0-1. Bo bounces it softly to third. Charging in. It's picked up and tossed over to first by Rosario in time. 2 outs. Aggie Rosario pinch hit last inning, just took over at third. So the bases are empty for Justin Turner, who's 0 for 3 today. 2 outs, top of the 8th. It'll be the middle of the order up for the Padres in the bottom of the 8th. We'll see if Jimmy Garcia comes back out. First the pitch to Turner. Low ball 1. The WestJet flight deck is ready to welcome Blue Jays fans. Live entertainment, great food and drink options, shuffleboard tables, and views of the best ballpark in baseball from center field. The WestJet flight deck has it all. Visit bluejays.com/outfield district. 1-0 high, 2-0. Eric Swanson getting loose for the Blue Jays right now in left field. If you weren't with us earlier, Chad Green put on the injured list today. The 2-0. Swing and a fly ball to center. Backs up the center fielder Merrill, who will jog in and now make the catch and end the inning. Blue Jays down 1-2-3 in the road half of the 8th. We'll go to the home half with Toronto up 4-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
Tuesdays on City TV.
Here we are in Canada, where Canada's about to celebrate our talent, our people.
It's the biggest season of Canada's Got Talent.
That was incredible. Incredible.
It's an absolute yes from me.
You, my friend, are undeniable.
This season will change a life.
This is the gateway to your dreams coming true.
Canada's Got Talent. All new Tuesdays, 8, 7 Central on City TV or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball painted at the bottom of the zone, and that's back-to-back strikeouts.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Back half of the 8th, 4-1 Blue Jays over the Padres, and Eric Swanson will make his second appearance of the season. Swanson was roughed up in his season debut against the Yankees, surrendering 3 hits and 3 runs in a third of an inning. He'll take on Manny Machado to start the bottom of the 8th. Right-hander's first pitch. Fastball painted on the outside edge, strike 1.
Well, the biggest problem in his last outing, in that rough outing, was that he fell behind. He fell behind every single hitter, and he had to come back with a split that was down the middle or a fastball that wasn't competitive.
0-1. Fastball fouled back, 0-2.
And right away he dots 2 fastballs, so everything is looking better.
That was, a similar thing echoed from John Schneider, who said he thought the stuff was fine, but it was the location that wasn't as sharp. He's Chris LaRue, by the way. I'm Ben Schulman. 4-1 Blue Jays, bottom 8. Machado leading off. And the 2-strike pitch from Eric Swanson. Fastball ripped foul. Blue Jays want to get Swanson back on track. I mean, on track, he only made 1 appearance, but as soon as possible because he was so important and effective for them last year. Machado asks for time, takes a walk to the left side of the dirt circle. Swanson last year in 69 appearances, which was a career high, had a 2.97 ERA. Pitched a lot of clean 8th innings, so his ERA may be a little bit more to look at than some other relievers. 0-2. Breaking ball popped up foul. 66 2/3 innings, also a career high. Struck out 75 batters in those 66 2/3. He'll use his slider, which he just threw away from Machado. He's got a splitter that he'll throw into righties and away from lefties, and the fastball in the low to mid 90s. 0-2 again. Fastball hit foul behind the plate and off the netting. 96 on that one, which is about as much as you're going to see from Swanson.
That was a great fastball in on the hands of Manny Machado, up around the letters, and Machado just gets a piece of it. He hasn't thrown that split down in the zone yet. I would love to see one of those.
Another 0-2. Another fastball hit foul. They elevated again.
Machado's probably thinking there's no way he throws another elevated fastball. I throw another elevated fastball right here.
Swanson nods, sets, twists his hips a little bit like Jordan Romano. Glove just above his belt, the 0-2. Did throw the splitter once, and Machado lays off. Pitch landed low, 1-2.
And again, that split, when you throw it, it has to look like a strike out of the hands. That one kind of a little bit to the right of the zone.
1-2 offering. Breaking ball, hit to short. Bichette picks it up, throws it over to first, 1 down. That was another splitter for Eric Swanson. Swanson's got a bit of a new look this year too. Longer hair. He's bordering on fitting in a hockey dressing room. Mustache.
It's longer hair in the back, Ben.
Yes. Well, I'm not one to talk. Check back in a couple of years with me. But longer in the back. Mustache, stubble around the mustache. 1 down, nobody on. The pitch to Jose Azocar, right-handed hitter. First pitch heater for strike 1. Absolute top of the zone hit there by Swanson.
Dare I say party in the back?
It's pretty party in the back. 0-1. Slider misses away. Blue Jays up 4-1. 1 out, bases empty. Bottom of the 8th. Azocar has singled up the middle and struck out in this substitute appearance for him. The 1-1. Hit in the air, deep left field. Varsho on the run at the track, and it's over his head, and one hops into the wall. Azocar jogs into second. It's a second hit today for the left fielder who came off the bench. It's a stand-up double with 1 out.
That slider was supposed to be on the outside part of the plate, and it kind of backed up on Eric Swanson. Came back middle in, and Azocar does a good job of hammering that ball into the gap. I actually thought Varsho had a good beat on it. Just goes over him. Goes over his head in left center.
He had to make a long run. That is kind of the deepest part of the yard. It was where he made the catch when Xander Bogaerts hit that ball yesterday, but maybe not wanting to take as many chances here with the Blue Jays up 4-1. 1 out, runner on second. Bottom 8, the pitch to Ha-Sung Kim. Fastball ripped to left field, down in left center for a base hit. Kiermaier picks it up, throw to the plate, late. Azocar slides in head first, and it's 4-2 on the RBI single by Ha-Sung Kim.
Another fastball over the heart of the plate, and Eric Swanson trying to sneak a fastball by him there, and Ha-Sung Kim just drills that baseball, that fastball that was middle, almost belt high into center field. Good piece of hitting there.
For Kim, it's his first hit today and 13th RBI on the season. The Padres are inching closer. 1 off the pen in the 7th, another one here in the 8th, and still only 1 out. Here's Jackson Merrill. Home plate umpire Ramon de Jesus stepped away from the plate for a moment. He's back. And Swanson set. Flicking his glove to disguise any movement of grips. The first pitch. Slide step and a strike 1 there with a backdoor slider.
Yeah, the tying run is in the batter's box right now, so you can't just try to groove a heater early on in the count to sneak a strike. That was a good pitch right there, down and away.
Turn and a throw to first. Dive back safely from Kim. Jackson Merrill, who's at the plate right now for the Padres, 0 for 3 today, but he's had 2 potential hits taken away from him. With 1 strike, the right on left offering. Bounce foul, 0-2. In the 4th inning, he nearly blooped a ball into center field, but Kevin Kiermaier came and slid in to make the catch. And then in the 6th inning, he almost hit the ball out of the yard to left, but Dalton Varsho leaped on the track and brought it in. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him on a splitter below the knees, 2 outs.
A really good pitch. You could see Alejandro Kirk's target was almost in the middle of the plate. He wants Eric Swanson to throw that thing to the middle and let it drop off the table, as it does right there. Starts right down the middle and then right underneath Merrill's bat. It's a good pitch right there.
Swanson trying to finish this inning. He's allowed 1 run on 2 hits. It's Kim on first with 2 outs. 4-2 Blue Jays bottom 8. The pitch to Luis Camposano. Slider outside. Toronto is warming up a right-hander in Trevor Richards right now. Campusano 1 for 2 with a walk. The pitch. Hit on the ground. Left side. Fair ball. Past the dive of IKF. It hits the retaining wall. Varsho sprints in to pick it up. Throw to second. Campusano slides in time. And it's second and third for the Padres. Kim at third. Campusano at second. And a single could tie up this game.
Yeah, 2 huge runs out there. Eric Swanson again throwing something a little bit too good. Just past IKF at third base. That was a split that kind of hung up there, and Campusano does a good job pulling the hands through and tucking it around third base.
Pete Walker's going to go out and talk to Eric Swanson right now. IKF made a valiant effort at third. Took out a piece of the chalk with his aggressive dive toward the left field line, but that ball was hit in a hurry and there was nothing he could do.
Yeah, that's the pitch that you want to bury. You don't want that thing hanging up over the middle of the plate. It was off the plate in, and Campusano did a good job of pulling his hands through, but it was still belt high, and that's an easier pitch to hit.
With Richards getting loose, potentially the final batter that Swanson would face, good or bad. It's 4-2 Blue Jays, second and third, 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. Padres have scored more runs in these last 2 innings than they scored in the last 2 games, getting shut out by Milwaukee on Wednesday and then 1 run yesterday. First pitch to Eggy Rosario. Right-handed hitter, bounces it to the right side. Picked up by Biggio at second. He'll toss to first, and Swanson gets rid of the trouble. The Padres do score a run on 3 hits, but 2 left in scoring position, and we head to the 9th with the Blue Jays up 4-2. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Feel the energy, blast the wild bird, and the impact of SiriusXM Octane.
Immerse yourself in a community of hard rock extremists.
World premieres,
Live performances,
and artist takeovers.
A giant thank you to the entire Octane community for keeping rock alive.
Turn up new hard rock.
Turn up Octane.
Channel 37 and on the SiriusXM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89, or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
Hello, Blue Jay fans. I'm Craig Ballard, host of your daily Locked On Blue Jays podcast. Locked On Blue Jays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Blue Jays brings you the latest Blue Jays news and analysis and breaks down all of the action. Locked On Blue Jays is everything a Blue Jays fan could want, all in a 30-minute daily podcast. Download Locked On Blue Jays right now on the SXM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or wherever you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host today, Nick Blackmore, our producer, and Tom Young is our technical director. Stick around after the game. Show Ali and Julia Kreutz have Jays Talk. New pitcher into the game for the Padres. The second arm that they've pulled out of the pen. It's Japanese left-hander Yuki Matsui. Set to face 2 left-handed hitters in Dalton Varsho and Kevin Biggio. Alejandro Kirk sandwiched in the middle. 12th appearance of the season for Matsui, who has solid numbers so far. A 0.9 ERA. First pitch. Varsho bunts it and pops it up behind him. Foul into the netting, 0-1.
That's the element of Varsho's game that we forget about when he's going right, but he is so good at taking that ball with him, drag bunting, even push bunting. He's just really, really good handling that bat.
Varsho led Major League Baseball in bunt hits last year. Left on left, 0-1. High breaking ball, 1 strike.
And you can tell he's just locked in right now. He didn't want any part of that elevated breaking ball.
2 for 3 day for Varsho. A homer and a double, 3 RBIs. 1-1. Fastball called, strike on the outside edge. Jordan Romano was moving around in that bullpen a little bit earlier in the game. The 1-2. Varsho smokes a ball through the hole on the right side. It rolls into right for a base hit. 3-hit day for Dalton Varsho. A single to lead off the top of the 9th.
And again, the thing that I'm looking at is that front shoulder. It's staying in. So many times last year and even early on this year, he sees that curveball, or sorry, that slider down the middle, and he pulls off of it trying to hit a homer. He stays on it right there and drills that ball into right field.
And the Blue Jays would love for him to come around maybe a couple more here. Up 4-2, top of the 9th. No outs, runner on first. The pitch to Kirk. High ball 1. For Toronto, they've used Jimmy Garcia now back-to-back days. And they might have to use Jordan Romano tonight. If they could not use him in a back-to-back and save him for tomorrow, that would be big. But right now it's a safe situation at 4-2. The lefty Matsui fires home and hits the zone. Strike 1. For Yuki Matsui, it's a splitter that's thrown the most, a four-seamer right behind it, and then a little bit of a sweeper, slider, and curve mixed in. Left on right pitch from Matsui. Kirk foul tips the breaking ball into the glove, down to a knee. Uses the bat to push himself back up to his feet, 1-2.
That was a huge swing from Alejandro Kirk. Head flying, down to one knee. You really don't see it that often from Kirk. He doesn't really take big hacks like that. I don't mind it.
Once in his first homer of the year.
Once in a while, I don't mind it.
It's kind of a middle breaking ball. Right pitch to go after. Down in the count now, though. The 1-2. In the dirt. Blocked forward by Campusano, who chases after it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I wonder here, I mean, 2-2 is a little bit different than 1-2. If the Blue Jays would think about starting Dalton Varsho, eliminating an opportunity at a double play. It is a lefty on the mound, though. Matsui comes set. 2-2, no. He's going to step and throw over to first, and I guess San Diego was thinking about it, too.
Matsui was listening to you right on cue. Picked off.
Well, if you hit button 6 on the pitch column, it actually turns right to sportsnet.ca. Matsui set. Varsho inching off first base. Healthy lead. And he takes off on the 2-2. Pitches way high. Throw to first. High and late. Stolen base for Varsho. And I almost wonder if he got in the eye line of Matsui, who sailed a breaking ball and didn't give Campusano much of a chance.
Yeah, Matsui clearly saw him taking off. He was actually shuffling even before Matsui threw that baseball. What a jump from Dalton Varsho. And that breaking ball, you're right, kind of sailed on Matsui.
Second stolen base of the season for Dalton Varsho. Now a runner in scoring position with no outs. Full count for Kirk, and his main job at least, move the runner over to third. The 3-2 pitch. Kirk hits a squibber to the right side. That will move the runner. It's picked up by the second baseman Bogaerts, who throws to first. But Varsho at least up to third with 1 out.
Yeah, that was a great job from Alejandro Kirk. I'm not sure if he was trying to do that or just trying to fight off a tough pitch from Matsui, but either way, he hits a weak ground ball to the right side, and Dalton Varsho gets to third base.
Kevin Biggio will come up now. Or no. Ernie Clement pinch hitting in the place of Biggio. Because it's a lefty on the mound, they go to the right-handed hitter, Clement. Ernie batting .275 in 15 games so far this year. And there's going to be a mound visit right now with Matsui to discuss how to attack Clement. Matsui in his first year in the major leagues, a 10-year player in NPB. and an All-Star in 2015, 17, 19, 21, and 22. He was a closer and led the Pacific League in saves 3 different times in MPB, including the last 2 seasons. Padres bring him into relatively high leverage. They are losing the game, but they're trying to keep this deficit at 2. Pitching coach Ruben Niebla is talking right now about how you want to go after Clement, an aggressive, contact-based hitter.
Yeah, he's a contact guy. This is exactly the guy that the Blue Jays want up in this situation. Somebody that's that's probably not going to strike out. He'll put the bat on the baseball, put some pressure on the defense, and that defense is actually in right now.
1 out and a runner on third. Toes on the infield grass. First baseman Cronenworth all the way on the infield grass. The runner is Varsho with a lot of speed. The pitch to Clement. Swing, and he fouls it back. 0-1. Ernie Clement is tied for 3rd in Major League Baseball in swing percentage. He swings just about as much as anyone in the game. There are few bigger stylistic switches than when you pinch hit Clement for Biggio, who's one of the most patient hitters in the game. The 0-1. Clement checks his swing on a pitch low. He did not go around. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
He kind of held his bat there, showed everybody that he did not swing at that ball. I'm surprised they didn't even check that.
Yeah, they didn't appeal at all. Young catcher and Campusano. Runner on third, 1 out, the 1-1. Clement shoots a liner into right field, a base hit. Varsho will jog home. It's an RBI single for Ernie Clement, and the Blue Jays extend the lead to 5-2.
And that's exactly the at-bat that I envision when Ernie Clement comes up in a situation like that. Going the other way, taking a tough pitch and hitting a good line drive, not trying to do too much there. That ball was a split finger on the outside part of the plate, and Ernie Clement just kind of goes with it, sticks the bat out. I mean, he hasn't had that long of a big league career, but he is a professional hitter.
He's on first with 1 out, the pitch to IKF. Hit foul to the right side, 0-1. One of the things that impresses me about Clement is his ability to come off the bench. Something that maybe you would acquire after playing for a while, but he's 7 for 17 career in pinch hit opportunities. Small sample, but still impressive. A look at Clement in the 0-1 in the dirt, blocked by Campusano.
Well, the hardest thing to do in baseball is pinch hit. You'll hear anybody tell you that. You're probably coming up late in a ball game against a flame-throwing reliever. Cold, you've been sitting all game. I mean, how hard does it get?
Yeah, the cage can only do so much. Blue Jays have 2 guys warming up right now after the Clement single. The pitch. IKF ropes the ball to left field, but right at Azokar. It's a loud out, number 2. In the Blue Jay pen, it's Jordan Romano and Trevor Richards. It's still a safe situation right now at 5-2. So I assume that Romano would still come into the game. And maybe if they extend the lead to 6-2, then you go to Richards. But maybe with the 3-run cushion, they save Romano. It is possible.
Well, John Schneider did say that Jordan Romano is good to go back-to-back games. And he looked great last night. His stuff was good. His location was good.
Left-on-left pitch to Kevin Kiermaier. He grounds the ball right at the second baseman. Bogarts doesn't move a muscle to pick it up and throws to first to end the inning. An insurance run there for the Blue Jays, though. Varsho singles, steals second. He's moved over by Alejandro Kirk, and Ernie Clement knocks him in. Blue Jays score 1 on 2 hits, leave 1 on, lead 5-2, headed to the bottom of the 9th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bring excitement to your landscape with proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better, so they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for proven winners, Color Choice Shrubs, in the distinctive white container at your local garden center, or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Pitch to Kevin Biggio is rocked to right field. That ball is gone.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays baseball. Show Ali with you at Baseball Control. Jays lead the Padres 5-2 as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning at Petco Park. We do have Jays talk tonight. Julia and I will stick around to take your phone calls and your text after the final out. 590-590, name and location. That is the People's Text line. I will throw out the numbers to call after this one is in the books. We can discuss Dalton Varsho, certainly, Jose Berrios, Jimmy Garcia once again, Eric Swanson, Ernie Clement coming on, and pinch hitting, whatever you like. We'll get to it on Jays Talk. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Jays lead at 5-2 in the bottom of the ninth inning. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you, Show. The closer is into the game. Jordan Romano takes over for the Blue Jays. 5-2 lead. However, it's the top of the order for the San Diego Padres. Xander Bogaerts, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Jake Cronenworth guaranteed to hit this inning. Small defensive changes for the Blue Jays after the pinch hit RBI single by Ernie Clement. He's at third. IKF moves to second. First pitch to Xander Bogaerts is a 96-mile-per-hour fastball for strike one.
Well, that's why that insurance run in the top of the ninth was so big. Bogaerts, Tatis Jr., Cronenworth. You need 3 runs.
1 hit and 4 tries today for Bogaerts. Romano's 0-1. Fastball hits softly on the ground to short. Bichette fields it on the forehand side, whips it over to first. 1 out. Third appearance of the season for Jordan Romano. Looked a little bit shaky, but picked up a save against the Yankees, and the Blue Jays win against them on Tuesday. Yesterday, it was a non-save situation, but looked really sharp in a scoreless inning.
Yeah, velocity was up a little bit. Good action on his slider. That's obviously a pitch that he throws a lot. He relies on that slider to have some success. Elevates the fastball, throws that slider down. It was really, really good.
Romano coming off back-to-back All-Star appearances. Pitches to Fernando Tatis. Starts him with a slider. 0-1.
And right away, that was probably one of the best, tightest sliders I've seen him throw this season, albeit a small sample size.
Got to be careful with Tatis, who is 0 for 4, but a team leading 6 home runs. 0-1. Fastball up high. Tatis ducks out of the way. That looked like it was high, but not inside, to be honest. But you understand at 97, the caution there from Tatis.
Well, he's known to be just a tad bit dramatic. He'll jump out of the way. Like a fastball there. I mean, it was 97 up around his head, but it wasn't really that close. But that's an effective pitch. Now he can throw that slider down and away, and it opens up that part of the plate.
He missed his spot through the slider inside. A ball, 2-1.
Yeah, tried to go away with it, but backed it up a little bit.
1 out, nobody on. 5-2 Blue Jays. Bottom of the ninth. The 2-1. Slider popped up. Middle of the diamond. Drifting into shallow center field. Kevin Kiermaier squeezes it with 2 hands, and there are 2 outs.
And this would be ideal if Jordan Romano can get this save throwing under 10 pitches. Because this is his back-to-back day. This is his second day in a row. First time this season. Throwing a full inning under 10 pitches would be great.
Good news for Romano. I mean, at least just in comparison to Swanson, he actually pitched a lot of spring. Just went down near the end of it, whereas Swanson's was very start and stop. So it isn't shocking that he looks sharp already in appearance 3. First pitch to Jake Cronenworth, high ball 1. 2 outs, bases empty, 5-2 Blue Jays, bottom 9. A second day in a row where the Blue Jays blitzed a San Diego pitcher. 3 runs in the first for Toronto on the Dalton Varsho homer. The 1-0. Called strike. Toronto added in the second inning and then did something they didn't do yesterday and picked up a late insurance run while Jose Berrios was dominant. 6 scoreless innings for the Blue Jays. Romano trying to make that pay off with 2 outs, the 1-1. High and outside, 2-1.
Romano actually fell to a knee there. Not sure why that happened, but looked kind of funky.
He's got the ball and is right back on the rubber, though. Twisting and shrugging his shoulders, the 2-1. Breaking ball popped up, foul out of play. 2-2. Padres down to their final strike. Padres have made this game closer with a run in the 7th and the run in the 8th, coming off Cabrera and Swanson, respectively. But Garcia was really good out of the pen, and Romano has 2 quick outs here. The 2-2 to Cronenworth. Fastball, check swing. No, he went around, says home plate umpire Ramon DeJesus. Cronenworth upset, but the Blue Jays win the game. A swinging strikeout ends a 1-2-3 save for Jordan Romano.
Well, such a good inning, such a good 9th inning for Jordan Romano. Like I said, if he can get away with throwing under 10 pitches, 10 or less, that's a win for him, because this is his first back-to-back game of the season. But Jose Berrios, I mean, you can't really say anything more about him. He's been so good. That sinker is just unreal. It's moving so much more than it was last year. The slider isn't quite there yet. We see a lot of backup sliders, but when that slider gets there, when that changeup gets there, I mean, it's weird to say this, but he might even be better than he is right now. But obviously Dalton Varsho with another great game. Defensively, he was running the bases, and then offensively, he was 3 for 4. This is a complete team effort tonight. This was a great game to watch, a great game for the Toronto Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays score 5 runs on consecutive days, and they win the series over the Padres. Still one more game to go, and still a lot more to go tonight, so stick around. We'll wrap it up on the other side and send you over to Blue Jays Talk with Show Ali and Julia Kreutz. Back in a moment, you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca. We're 2 men and a truck. And we've got lots of men and lots of trucks. Whether you're planning a move to a new home or to a new office down the hall, big or small, we move them all. We even sell packing and moving supplies. But no matter what you need, we'll do it with a smile. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. So when you're planning your next move, call 2 men and a truck. 2 men and a truck, the movers.
The Blue Jays win the game 5-2, and they take this series on the road in interleague play against the San Diego Padres. Appreciate you sticking around across the Sportsnet Radio Network, or maybe streaming on sportsnet.ca or the Sportsnet app. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. The Blue Jays today throwing out their most effective starter so far this season, Jose Berrios, against Randy Vasquez, making his season debut. And we've already talked a lot about Berrios, Chris, but one thing that particularly interested me, he got out of a lot of traffic today, left 7 runners on base in his 6 scoreless innings, including first and second in the 4th with only 1 out, and then first and second in the 5th with 1 out, and the bases loaded with 2 down. He didn't seem to change at all when there were guys on base.
Well, I think the biggest thing, when you have a sinker that is that effective, you can get out of anything. You can just throw that sinker right down the middle. And Jose Berrios doesn't really throw that sinker right down the middle. He throws that thing on the black. He throws that thing on the inner third. He has the great command of that sinker. But that's the great thing about having a pitch like that. When you're in a jam, you throw that thing, they'll just beat it into the ground. That's the best part about having that thing in your back pocket. You can get out of anything.
Berrios got out of a lot. He pitched 6 scoreless, 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. He is running a streak right now of 21 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings pitched. On the other side, the Blue Jays made it pretty comfortable for him. Before Berrios even got to the mound, Toronto had a lead because Vladimir Guerrero Jr. doubled to start the game. A ground ball to third base. Graham Pauley, who was called up today, his first place since being called up, he skipped the throw. It was an awkward bounce. Cronenworth couldn't pick it. That made it 1st and 3rd. And after Justin Turner struck out, Dalton Varsho stepped up to the plate for our play of the game. Set at the chest, Vasquez getting ready for the 3-1. 2 peaks at first at Bichette. Guerrero on third, 3-1. Varsho hammers it to right field. That ball is way back. It's out of here. Stay hot, Dalton Varsho. His 5th home run of the season, a 3-run blast in the 1st inning.
There's no better feeling than drilling a middle fastball 400 feet to right field. What a swing from Dalton Varsho. He stays hot. Well, Varsho did it all tonight. Defensively, he had a stolen base. He had that home run early on. The biggest thing with that home run, it was a 3-1 pitch, and Dalton Varsho tends to get big when he's ahead in the count. He tries to do too much. That front shoulders is the key for him. He pulls off a lot like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. does when they try to get big. He stayed right on that pitch and drilled it to right field.
A 3-hit day for Varsho, who after the homer would double in the 3rd, came up with the single, and you mentioned the stolen base in the 9th inning. That allowed him to move over to 3rd base on Alejandro Kirk's ground ball to 2nd, and then Ernie Clement would knock him in. A double for Kevin Kiermaier in the game as well. A couple times aboard for Kevin Biggio in a start that got cut short because they pinch hit Clement in his spot. And 2 hits again today for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the double I mentioned in the 1st, and then he singled in the 5th inning. And for the Blue Jays, they have a tough loss and emotional letdown on Wednesday. They clearly have not let that affect them at all. Coming to San Diego and winning a series on the West Coast, which is a tough thing to do with the time change, the travel and all.
Well, look, they don't look anything like the team they did 8 games into the season. Their pitching, their defense is great, and their offense is coming around. A guy like Dalton Varsho, we talked about him early on, that he might be the key to this team's ultimate success. Obviously, we expect Vlad to turn it around, Bo to turn it around, maybe George Springer. But if Dalton Varsho can turn it into the guy that the Blue Jays thought he would be when they traded for him, where do you think this team can go?
Who knows? But he is doing it right now. 5 home runs leads the team. Dalton Varsho helps the Blue Jays to a 5-2 win. The Blue Jays scored 5 runs today on 8 hits, no errors, 4 left on base. Padres scored 2 on 9 hits, 1 error, 10 left on base, 7 of those by Berrios, who picks up the win to go to 4-0. Randy Vasquez loses in his debut, although he only allowed 1 earned run, 4 runs total in his 5 innings of work. Second save of the season for Jordan Romano. This game took 2 hours and 36 minutes on a sunny day in San Diego in front of over 43,000 people at Petco Park. And after the win, the Blue Jays moved to 12-9, 2 games back of the New York Yankees. The Padres drop below 500, miss out on a chance to tie the Dodgers atop the NL West. They are 11-12. Really fun game coming up tomorrow. Great pitching matchup. Joe Musgrove for the Padres, a Blue Jays draft pick, against Chris Bassett for the Blue Jays. That one gets going at 4:10. Hope you can join us before for pregame, and as always, Jays Talk after the game as well. But that will wrap up our coverage from me and Chris for tonight. Still a lot more going on. But for our host, Joe Ali, technical director, Tom Young, producer, Nick Blackmore, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Stick around, get your calls, get your texts in, because Blue Jays Talk with Joe Ali and Julia Kreutz starts right now.
All right, our second edition of Jays Talk After Dark this season. Joe Ali, Julia Kreutz with you live on the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're also streaming on sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet app. Jays 5-2 winners over the Padres out west. They win another series. They have won 6 of their last 7 games. Great stuff for the Blue Jays tonight, and certainly it continues to go well for them in San Diego. Hey, give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. You can text us as well, and I see the texts coming in, 590-590. Name and location, the People's Text line is always open. And Jules, I am glad we are doing Jays Talk and not Leafs Talk tonight. JD and the boys with their hands full. I laugh to not cry personally, but I don't envy them this evening. But we get a positive result to discuss, and a lot of it starts with Dalton Varsho. I mean, he has been so good. I love watching him. A mammoth home run, a 3-hit night tonight. He sprinkles in a stolen base on top of it as well. He has basically hit all 5 of his 2024 home runs in the span of just over a week, which is just so incredible after a relatively poor start to the season. But he's been phenomenal so far.
It's been really, really fun to watch, right, Joe? Every single one of his hits today was just absolutely smoked. And you can see in how many different ways Varsho can hurt opposing pitchers. It's not just that he is hitting the ball or seeing the ball well. It's that he is hitting it with authority in all 3 cases today. That was definitely at play. And then on the other side, right, we keep seeing him just come up hugely on the defensive end of the ball, running the bases extremely well today, and kind of coming into the player or becoming the player that the Blue Jays envisioned when they made that trade, a highly scrutinized trade, and I expect it to remain that way. But it feels like we are seeing for the first time Varsho kind of come into his own as a member of the Blue Jays, and it's been nothing but fun, Joe.
It's very true. I just I see a text here from, what was the name on this one? Oh, Jesse from Dartmouth. And Jesse wants to know what's the latest on the Gurriel and Moreno comparison. It's a good question, because I don't think, at least right this second, a lot of people will be on the it was the worst trade in Blue Jays history bandwagon. But I mean, it's very easy to jump on the Varsho bandwagon positively right now. As someone who has quite a few shares of Dalton Varsho this year, Jules, I'm glad he's bouncing back. And John Schneider was on with Blair yesterday, and he had said he'd been working on so many things this offseason. And it was funny because we saw a lot of the things he'd been working on offensively pay dividends in the spring and not so much in the regular season. But again, he's been looking so much better over these past 10 games, 5 home runs, 11 ribbies, and he has an OPS over 1100 in the past 10 games, which is just absurd. And again, is this going to be what he is like all season long? No, just as the first beginning of the season was not what he was going to be like all season long either. But if you get a Varsho who can stay defensively as ready defensively as he's looked all season, even when the offense wasn't there, and you get a little bit more offensively like we did tonight and have gotten over the last 10 games, I think you'll be getting someone you're very happy with, and it will make questions like Jesse's question about the Gurriel Moreno trade, something that you don't even really, maybe you don't never think about it, but something you won't often think about as we did last year. Yeah, of course we can't discount the pitching tonight, right, Joe? It was an extremely good, again, another extremely good performance. Jose Berrios has been historically good, and we saw the bullpen again come in and do its job for the most part. But it's not a stretch to say that Varsho was one of the key pieces here, if not, just gave the Blue Jays the win. Definitely on the offensive end of the ball, you can see how focused, how locked in he is, and that is also visible in just how different those 3 at-bats that generated hits for him were, right? In the first inning, he lays off 3 very uncompetitive changeups, to be sure, and then he fouls off a fastball that was kind of in the heart of the plate, and then the next one comes in, he's not going to miss it again. He's not going to miss it twice in a row. And then the next hit, the double that he got, I believe it was in the second inning, certainly his second at bat, everything was down in the zone and just one too many changeups. And if you give a guy like that, who is as locked in as Varsho is, a repeated chance to see what you have, and the starter did not mix his pitches well enough there, then Varsho is not going to miss again. In the third one, which was in the 9th, and then he ended up coming back to score, 106.6 miles per hour off the bat. So that really tells you that this is not just luck, and it's not just that he's looking for something that he can hit. He is absolutely clobbering the ball, and it's just a splitter that stays in the zone. He doesn't try to do too much with it. He just sends it the other way for a single, and it pays off big time for the Blue Jays, with that insurance run coming in to score in the top of the 9th, and giving Jordan Romano a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more of a cushion to come in and get that save. It's kind of the best of what the Blue Jays are trying to accomplish offensively is what we saw from Varsho today, It's just that ability to
not try to do too much, lay off the bad pitches, wait for something that you can actually drive or do damage with, and it's paying off. Now, if that can rub off in the rest of the lineup, then you can expect more than 5 runs per game from Blue Jays, but extremely encouraging signs for Varsho, and maybe something to look out for other hitters in this lineup as well.
Laura in Washago had texted in earlier, 590, name and location, and she had said, I can't help but totally buy into the thrill of Varsho's performance at the plate as of late. Hopefully, I'm not regretting the excitement as per Chapman's run earlier last season. And I think that's a good thing to bring up, Jules, just because I, for one, totally bought into Chapman after the March, April the stretch where he won the Player of the Month. And then we all know what happened from the end of April, basically all the way to the end of the season. And again, I'm not saying that's going to happen to Dalton Varsho because he actually did not start out hot as you outlined, but I obviously think it's a lesson to maybe don't get too high on these kinds of things, and I try not to, even though I do, as someone who believes in Varsho, think this can be what he is more consistently, even if he's not like this every single night. The thing that I will always though buoy Varsho, and this actually is why I brought up that text from Laura, because it's the same thing that buoyed Chapman for so long, is that Varsho, his glove and the defensive work is just ridiculous, right? I mean, he has essentially put together a whole highlight reel of Gold Glove highlights in the span of a week, essentially. And it's funny because in the Gold Glove conversation, it's probably always going to be somewhat tough for him to win a Gold Glove at a singular position because he moves around a lot, right? He splits his time kind of in left and center. Whereas Kiermaier, for example, he either only plays center or he doesn't play, right? But obviously, if you look at what Varsho is doing, he deserves to win a Gold Glove award. I know it's April 20th, whatever. We have to kind of hold up on these conversations for end of season awards and the first month of the season. I understand that. But I mean, he also did this for 6 months last year. And because of that split duty, he got kind of beaten out by Stephen Kwan when it comes to the utility position. And I mean, he deserved it too, but gosh, he deserves some kind of singular recognition because what he's doing defensively, again, even if you only looked at the last week, has been ridiculous, frankly.
I could not agree more. It's pretty fascinating to think that a guy like that could be quote unquote punished for his versatility, for the fact that he can slide into center and when he's not at left field. But what he's done throughout the season, and certainly this past week, maybe because we've been looking, paying a little bit more close attention, and it's come with the offensive highlights as well. That does deserve recognition, whether that's now, whether that's at the end of the year. If Varsho can keep this up, which we know he can, he is arguably the best left fielder in the major leagues right now. It needs to be recognized, right? It needs to be recognized somehow. And to think that he could miss out on a Gold Glove because he also plays center, it seems a little silly to me, but it's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, I know that it does kind of depend on the definition of the utility spot when it comes to the Gold Glove. But I mean, if you were to if you're really going to try and say that Varsho is the second best left fielder and center fielder and utility player, I don't know if I can really get behind that, right? Again, it's April. Maybe things change. Maybe depending on how much he does play at each position, it will shake out one way or another. But gosh, right now he has got to be one of the best defensive outfielders, period, regardless of position out there.
Yep.
And probably in all of baseball. I see a lot of text here, 590, name and location. I see a lot of text here, Jules, on Ernie Clement. I'm going to read a couple of them to you as well. And we definitely have to talk about him. Alden from Scarborough. As much as Blue Jays fans get on John Schneider, we have to give him his flowers when he pulls the right strings also. Shout out to him for bringing in Clement. Shout out to Clement for coming through to pick up a big insurance run. And there was another one here on Clement. Oh, here it is. Dan from Beamsville. I really like the move to bring in Clement off the bench, as he did what the Blue Jays were wanting and drove in that insurance run. Totally agree, because Clement, it was a great spot to bring him in against Yuki Matsui, and you heard Ben Schulman say this on the broadcast, but he's a guy who has been one of the best relievers in Japan for years, essentially. This guy a multiple-time All-Star. He's very good, and you bring in after, and again, this ties into Varsho because Varsho steals the base. Kirk grounds out, but it moves him to third, and with less than 2 outs, and Varsho standing on third base. You bring in someone like Clement, who has been a great contact hitter. And again, I think that is really impressive for Clement to come in late in this ballgame after sitting for, 2.5 hours, essentially, sitting on the bench, sitting completely cold, and then coming in and getting Varsho home with a rope into the field. I'm very impressed with what Ernie Clement has been bringing in. For a guy who's relatively young and who has, not, again, relatively a lot of major league experience, I've been very impressed with what we've seen from Clement in relatively limited action. And that's a lot of times to say the word relatively in a short period.
Well, that's the thing, right? Everything is relative, show on April 20th in Major League Baseball. So I understand the impetus or the will to use that word a lot. And you are absolutely right. That was Ernie Clement doing what we would expect him to do. He fouls off a fastball in his first offering there, lays off a splitter that is off the zone, and then again for Matsui, that splitter just doesn't drop in his third offering to Clement, and the Blue Jays are not missing those right now. Very, very good eye, and the contact ability is basically what has gotten Ernie Clement to this team and what has given him most of his opportunities so far with the Blue Jays. And he's been delivering. He's been delivering since last year. He certainly delivered in the spring, and we are just seeing a continuation of this very specific plan of coming in and waiting for something that he can drive. He's not going to try to hit a home run. He's not even going to try to hit for power, which he doesn't have to, especially when you have an athletic guy like Varsho at third base with fewer than 2 outs there. And props to John Schneider for recognizing that and playing the matchups in that moment, even though the Blue Jays had a lead, understanding that no lead is safe against the San Diego Padres in their home ballpark, with the heart of their lineup coming in and getting that extra run to make things a little bit more comfortable for Jordan Romano. Now, we can talk about Ernie Clement forever, and this is probably going to be always what we are talking about with him, which is the tremendous ability to make contact and just the confidence, the absolute cold-bloodedness of coming in after sitting the whole game and delivering in that big moment. This is definitely a guy that the Blue Jays want to have play a more or less regular role with the team. But when he's coming off the bench and doing that, it puts you in such a good position, Show.
416-870-0590, 1-888-666-0590, star 590 on your cell. If you want to give us a call, those are the numbers to call. You can text us as well if it is a little too late for you. You can text us at 590-590. Name and location, and the People's Text line is popping tonight, Jules. So we'll get to a lot of the texts. Obviously, we got to talk about the pitching staff. Anytime you give up 1 run yesterday, you give up 2 runs today. Great stuff. There was a text, I think it was from Peter in East Gwillimbury, who had said something along the lines, oh, here it is. Peter had said, so close to a show filled with Swanee hate mail. Phew, have a great show. And look, I agree. I am glad that Swanson did not blow it. I think there was another text, and I apologize for not getting your name here because I can't quite find it right now, but I had seen a text about should Swanson pitch in slightly lower leverage situations, maybe a little bit, but it does seem, Jules, that the bullpen being able to pick up any slack with a variety of combinations is a boon they have right now, because even if one guy isn't pitching particularly well, and Chad Green has been put on the 15-day IL, we learned that earlier today, Nate Pearson called up in his place, it does mean that they still have a wealth of options to go to, and it was demonstrated again today, and we'll talk about Berrios certainly, but it was demonstrated again today in which Genesis Cabrera didn't really seem to have it. He got a little bit, and you got to give some credit to the Padres. They made good use of their bench pinch hitters, just like we were talking about Ernie Clement. Great stuff from those guys to do the same thing on the other side, so you got to tip your cap a little bit, but Cabrera wasn't super effective tonight, and then that brings in, again, Jimmy Garcia into this game, into essentially what was the game's at that moment, highest leverage spot for the bullpen, runner on second with 1 out, and then Jimmy Garcia goes up and the dart strikes the Tatis, sinkers at the bottom of the zone. He didn't give Cronenworth anything major to swing at, a few curveballs, a few fastballs, 96 miles an hour from Jimmy to get Cronenworth to fly out. It's just amazing stuff from him. And the bullpen at large looked great, and that includes Jordan Romano.
Yeah, when you're talking about Jimmy Garcia, it's just the absolute courage, right? To throw any pitch that he has at any count, depending on the situation, and trusting that he will get those results. And he is. He has every reason to trust in his stuff right now. And we saw that once again. When you have a guy that can come in mid-inning with runners on base in a very, very tight game at that point, as it was for most of it, and deliver in the clip that he is, time and time again, that will certainly put you in the conversation as one of the best setup men right now, at least in the American League. With Eric Swanson show, again, it looks like location was more the problem today than necessarily the stuff itself, which is something that John Schneider also alluded to in his first appearance of the season, which definitely didn't go his way. But it just seems like, we have to remember that with the injury wasn't even the first pause to Swanson's buildup. There was also an incident earlier in spring training, that horrible accident with his son. He had a very fragmented spring. And so it seems like he may be working out some kinks that you would expect him to work out in spring training, but he's doing it in pretty high leverage positions. So props to him for recovering and actually getting those outs when he needed them. We saw a little bit better location today, but in the pitches that he got, it seemed like that was the problem more so than the stuff itself, if that makes sense, Joe.
No, I agree with you. Like, I was mainly looking for Swanson tonight. Would he fall behind in the count as much as he did against the Yankees? And he didn't really, but he also got hit pretty early in the count by mostly the bottom of the Padres order. And you're right, because he did show some good numbers velo-wise. Like, we saw him get up to like 96 miles an hour, which you don't actually see that often from Swanson. He did get some swing and miss with the splitter, which, as we know, is his bread and butter. But again, like you're saying, he didn't have the greatest of locations. And even in the first batter, who I think was Manny Machado, he probably didn't have you think he got helped out by the umpire a little bit. So I think right now, would I throw Eric Swanson out there in the highest leverage situations, even with Chad Green on the IL? Maybe not. Does that mean Trevor Richards gets that spot next time up if you really need to? Maybe. It doesn't mean you just stop playing Swanson. He has to actually pitch to get back into the groove. And I think he will. It's just, you're right. I think right now, if we're talking about the circle of trust, I love the circle of trust term. Is Swanson in the inner circle of trust? Probably not, alongside Jimmy Garcia. I think the thing about Jimmy Garcia, too, to wrap up on him, is his play is impressive because, Jules, I feel for me, it means you can do two things, right? Certainly it means you can alleviate the stress on Romano, which is great. And that's something you and I have talked about before because, again, like when they were able to do this last year, Hicks was someone who they were able to go to and throw some nasty stuff, throw some heat, but then he's not on the team anymore. And you kind of think to yourself, well, who's going to be that guy? And, they talk, how many times do we hear about internal options in the offseason? And they did get a good internal option from Jimmy Garcia, and he's been doing it, which is great. So it means you have a multiple options for the highest leverage bats, which is really important because this is something I've brought up with you before, which is to bring in your high leverage reliever against the opposing team's most dangerous bats in spots that are not only the ninth inning, right? While still having someone available to close things out. And a lot of teams just don't have that option. Absolutely. And the Jays didn't have that option for large stretches of Romano's career because they had to they had to deploy Romano to end the game regardless of who was there, which meant that earlier you kind of ran into some trouble. And now the Jays do have that option. And again, that's without Chad Green and that's without Eric Swanson being the Swanson we've seen in the last couple of years.
Yeah, there's really no overstating how valuable Garcia has been for this bullpen, precisely for what you just laid out, Joe, is the fact that it's not just what he is doing, but also what he is allowing the Blue Jays to do in terms of flexibility with that bullpen.
Let's chat about some Jose Berrios pitches here before we take a quick break here and go back to the text line, 590-590. So 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs, which is great, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts for Berrios. The last time Berrios had pitched, I had felt, Jules, that his slurve, even though he used it pretty heavily the last time out, wasn't quite as effective as his sinker, which he also uses a ton. And tonight, all the pitches were kind of zipping around out there. Tons of run on a lot of his bread and butter pitches, including the slurve. But the sinker moving around a ton. And he threw that thing down in the bottom half of the strike zone a lot. It just, so far, The sinker looks like it has been his best pitch, certainly tonight, but largely I would say all season the sinker has looked great. I mean, his other stuff has looked effective as well, including the changeup, the slider, less effective for a couple of starts now, but something he's going to have to keep working on. Generally speaking, Berrios has looked phenomenal. I do think there's a little bit of like a luck element involved, and I'm not trying to downplay Berrios by any means because he's been the Blue Jays' best starter all season long, but it's just he kind of navigated his way around a decent amount of traffic on the bases. He got some help from the defense. There was some run support, a lot of things going right for him, but I do want to see some of the other pitches, especially that slider of his, kind of be able to get guys over. But again, I mean, like, you can't really find a lot of fault with the guy when he doesn't allow a single run over 6 innings at the same time.
Yeah, and not even an extra base hit, right, Joe, which is equally as impressive, I would say. It's the fact that if he can trust that sinker to get the awkward contact for outs, then we don't need him to strike out 8 or 10 batters every 6 innings of work. He can rely on his stuff to get the ground outs or the weak fly balls as well. And when you look at the breaking ball, you know, if you're going to differentiate, say, the slider and the slurve and whatnot, the slurve today was pretty phenomenal. At one point there, he made Ha-Seong Kim look a little bit foolish, even with the slurve that kind of starts in the zone and then it just breaks entirely into the batter's box on the other side, and Kim goes after that thing. And yes, I agree with you that, you know, especially when you are pitching, kind of looking for that weak contact, there will always be an element of luck, and that is where, you know, say the outfield defense comes into play. We saw Varsho make another great catch. We saw Kevin Kiermaier with another great catch today. But it's about trusting his stuff as well as anything. And if he can do a little bit of everything like he did today, miss some bats, and at the same time generate some weak contact, then he's probably going to have a very strong season moving forward as well. Is he going to keep his ERA under 1 as it is right now? Probably not. These things have a way of turning around and balancing themselves out. But what we're seeing right now is pretty remarkable from Jose Berrios to reach a 4-0 record.
Speaking of Jose Berrios, John Schneider, the skipper, just wrapping up his postgame availability. Let's hear what he had to say about today's starter.
Yeah, you know, you feel really good with him on the mound, obviously, as you do with all of our guys. You know, and Jose probably, I mean, he had a good fastball tonight, and left some runners on base and made some big pitches. But that's a sign of a top of the line guy when you're grinding a little bit. And you know, you strand the bases loaded to Manny there with a heater. Yeah, he's pretty locked in. I've said that before, but you feel really good with him on the mound.
That is John Schneider chatting to the media about Jose Berrios. 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs, 2 walks issued, 6 strikeouts. You heard Schneider reference loading the bases in the bottom of the 5th, and then still immediately with Manny Machado, of all people, Manny Machado popping up on like 2 pitches essentially. So great stuff from Jose Berrios. Let's take a quick break, Jules, and when we come back, we'll go back to the text line, 590-590, name and location, lots of texts to get to. And if you do want to give us a call, 416-870-0590, 1-888-660-590, star 590 on your cell. You're listening to Jays Talk. Jays 5-2 winners in San Diego. We're back after this.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? You can paint your face, Come and meet Ace and run base to base. Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior J's. And with all kinds of cool new games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom. Visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
Bring excitement to your landscape with Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs. These flowering shrubs and evergreens have been trialed and tested by experts to make sure they look better and bloom better. So they're just as easy to care for as what's in your landscape now, but a whole lot more colorful and interesting. Look for Proven Winners Color Choice Shrubs in the distinctive white container at your local garden center or learn more at provenwinnerscolorchoice.com.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Springer charges the ball to left field. It's in the seats, and the Blue Jays are on the board.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Yeah, I mean, a couple pitches that were up in the zone for hits. Yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself for not having Izzy on the line on the double a little bit more. But I thought his stuff overall was better. And, to strand runners there to keep the game where it was, 4-2, turning it over to Jordan. Big pitch there.